Chapter 1263. Then I won't say anything else. Let's have this. Let's have a good time. Knight Sorrow took out a huge vat of wine and placed it on the table with a bang. Commander, what is this? Chi Wang asked. It's wine from the Ice Dragon's Prince Shitai's family. He gave it to me when I came back. It's strong and strong enough. Can you guys handle it? Knight Sorrow opened the lid of the vat and scooped wine for everyone. Damn, you can drink like that? Wei Wei could not help but curse. Let's do it like that. Qin Leitang, who did not speak much, opened his mouth. Everyone drank excitedly. After a huge vat of wine, almost everyone collapsed. Knight Sorrow was also a little dizzy. He went back to Nine Chong building to rest. As for saying that the generals of Sky Tiger Pass drank too much and that it was not safe, that was nonsense. Once there was an alarm, these people would be as alert as monkeys. After going back to Nine Chong building to wash his face, Knight Sorrow felt more energetic. You too, drinking so much. Hong Yi, who followed Knight Sorrow to the general's residence and watched Knight Sorrow drink, supported Knight Sorrow as he came back, said. I'm happy. Since I'm happy today, I should drink more. Although I'm a little dizzy, they are all asleep. Qijue and Ning are all under the table. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. They are all generals. Drinking so much that they are snoring under the table. What is this? Hong Yi was speechless. Normally, the generals of the Nine Heavens army were very dignified. They were swift and decisive, killing enemies from tens of thousands of miles away. But who knew that they would drink so much that they would slide under the table? Who was drunk under the table by our junior brother Knight? Qing Lin and Qing Luan arrived at Nine Chong building. Why didn't you guys come earlier? I just finished drinking at Sky Tiger Pass. Other than senior brother Zhan Tan, who can sleep on the chair, the others are about the same. There are 2 or 3 under the table, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. You came back. Why didn't you call us when you were drinking? Qing Lin sat down and complained. Can you do it? Knight Sorrow asked after taking a sip of the tea that Red Shirt had brewed. Junior brother Yi, this is your fault. Don't look down on others. I'm not as good as you when it comes to leading troops, but drinking wine is nothing, said Qing Lin. I can't do it today. I'm dizzy. Even if I drink more, I'll have to sleep under the table. Let's do it another day, Knight Sorrow said as he rubbed his forehead. Qing Lin and Qing Luan smiled. They heard that Knight Sorrow had returned and came to take a look. In the past 20 years, the Green Qilan Army and the Green Phoenix Army had developed quite well. It was Knight Sorrow who had reduced the strength of the Red Emperor's empire to an extremely low level. On the other hand, Dark Abyss was also heavily damaged by Knight Sorrow. Therefore, the Qing Emperor's empire's army was almost invincible. After chatting for a while, Qing Lin and Qing Luan left. No one asked about Knight Sorrow's situation in the Ice Dragon realm because it was personal privacy. Soon, the news spread that the first prince of the Qing Emperor's empire, Sandalwood, would be getting married in a month. The Qing Emperor sent out wedding invitations everywhere, regardless of whether they had any grudges or not. It was not for anything else but to hold a decent wedding for his eldest disciple. Sandalwood had gone through a great ordeal. The Qing Emperor wanted him to live a decent life. Therefore, he wanted to start with a decent and grand wedding. Not to mention the giants of the world of Samsara, even the people of the Bound of Universe were invited. Knight Sorrow arranged the 9 Heaven Army's Storm Army, Qishan Army, and Anping Army to guard the Heaven Tiger Pass. The Angry Qilan Army, Thunder Army, Dingxiang Army, and Black Tiger Army were all transferred to the Qing Emperor's city. He also gave an order that no martial arts would be allowed in the Qing Emperor's city for the next month. This was Knight Sorrow's arrangement. He did not want anyone to disturb his senior brother's wedding. After seeing Knight Sorrow's record in the military department, the Qing Emperor smiled. These two haven't known each other for long, but their relationship is indescribable. Your Majesty, you don't know, right? Just the day before yesterday, Sandalwood sent a challenge to Chiwa of the Red Emperor's empire. He wanted to fight at the Heaven Tiger Pass, but Chiwa did not accept. Sandalwood was angry because Chiwa had challenged Sandalwood to a fight. He felt that it was bullying Night Sorrow, so he could not stand it. They really are brothers, Xian Daozi said. Chiwa challenged Night Sorrow to a fight? That boy is talented and capable, but he was blinded by hatred and anger, Qing Emperor said. Your Majesty, it seems that His Highness Night Sorrow has offended the Celestial Sect, Xian Daozi said worriedly. He screwed over one of the Celestial Sect's young masters. The Celestial Sect is so overbearing that I'm afraid they won't let this matter rest. This Emperor has sent an invitation to the Celestial Sect. It's true that you're a guest, but if you don't give this Emperor face, then this Emperor won't be polite either. Why didn't Night Sorrow trick others? Qing Emperor snorted. His Highness Night Sorrow is not the type of person to cause trouble, Xian Daozi said. He went to trick the young master of the Celestial Sect. That guy must have done something first. So what if I didn't do anything? In an adventure like the Ice Dragon Realm, everyone has to rely on their own abilities. Getting screwed over is useless. Qing Emperor was still angry. He knew that the young master of the Celestial Sect must have relied on his high cultivation to harm Night Sorrow first. Many people also knew that Night Sorrow had appeared. Everyone was paying attention to Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow had a heavenly artifact. No matter how powerful the rumors were, Night Sorrow didn't defend himself. This made many people even more certain that Night Sorrow had a heavenly artifact. Night Sorrow didn't care about these rumors at all. If the Celestial Masters dared to make a move against him, Qing Emperor would make a move. If the Celestial Masters didn't make a move, he had Summer City and the Qing Emperor's guard by his side. In addition, he also had a group of blood-robed guards secretly protecting him. Who could touch him? In a palace in the Red Emperor's empire, Chiwa smashed the table in front of him into pieces. Sandalwood, you've gone too far. I'll remember this. Chiwa, your heart is in a mess. Red Emperor appeared in the palace. Chiwa greets father. Chiwa bowed to Red Emperor. A loss is a loss. It's nothing in itself. But look at you now. You issued a challenge to Night Sorrow. The moment you did so, you bore the words "can't afford to lose" and "unscrupulous." Red Emperor's tone was very strict. Father, I know my mistake. Chiwa's voice was a little soft. The war between the Red Emperor's empire, the Qing Emperor's empire, and the Dark Abyss is a survival of the fittest. It's a necessity of the situation. This is nothing. When there's a war, we should unite against the enemy. Back then, father killed one of the Qing Emperor's brothers. The Qing Emperor hated him, but he didn't do anything overboard. If he really wanted to fight, I wouldn't be his match. The Red Emperor wouldn't be able to survive in the East District alone. But he didn't do that. Now that we've lost, you can't afford to lose. We can afford to lose. The Red Emperor's empire can afford to lose. We can be ruthless and use underhanded means, but we can't have no bottom line. Red Emperor reprimanded Chiwa. Chiwa knows my mistake. Chiwa bowed again. We'll go to Sandalwood's wedding. You and Tianxin will go with father. You have to apologize for this incident. In addition, the Red Emperor's empire's army near the borders of the Qing Emperor's empire will withdraw and defend the East District, Red Emperor ordered. Chapter 1264. It's fine if we don't attack them, but we still have to help them? Chiwa asked. That's right. The Qing Emperor wants to hold a grand wedding for Sandalwood and invited all the major powers. This is not only a big matter for the Qing Emperor's dynasty, but also a big matter for the eastern region of the world of reincarnation. Therefore, there are some things that the Red Emperor's country must do. The Red Emperor nodded. I understand. Chiwa nodded. He understood that this was an attitude. The eastern region of the world of reincarnation was united against outsiders. In the main hall of the Sky Peak sect, an old man wearing a purple gold crown was looking at the invitation. Sandalwood's wedding. It seems that the Qing emperor still values this disciple of his. Then let's go and take a look. The Qing emperor should have invited many people this time. Sect leader, isn't the Qing emperor afraid of causing trouble? You have to know that the matter of his disciple having the heavenly artifact hasn't been resolved yet. An old man asked. Maybe someone will mention it this time, but the Qing emperor won't be threatened. I'll go and take a look first. The old man sitting in the main seat said. He was the sect leader of the Sky Peak sect, Ling Tian. Godfather, Xiangxi will go with you. A man with a face that was devoid of any flesh stood out. He looked like a dead man. This was Ling Tian's adopted son, Chang Xiangxi. His parents died when he was young. Some people said that he was born with a lowly life and brought bad luck to his parents. Ling Tian saw that his aptitude was not bad and took him in. Now, he had become a good dog. If Ling Tian said that there was a problem, Chang Xiangxi would bite him without hesitation. Not to mention outside, even within the Sky Peak sect, Chang Xiangxi's reputation was extremely bad. He would bite whoever he caught. Anyway, he didn't care. His family had all been killed. As for Ling Tian had always been fine. Father, Ling Ju also wants to go. That night's sorrow, I won't let him go. Ling Ju stood out and said. Okay, Elder Jia will go with me. Ling Tian nodded. Elder Jia was an extremely strong member of the Sky Peak sect. Ling Tian always brought him along. It was the same for the other forces. The leaders who received the invitation all made the same decision. They brought their elites to see the world. After Yi Shang arranged some things, he spent his days deducing formations and cultivating combat skills, or rather, secret combat skills. Nu Lin and the others also went to the 9 grand floors to report some things. Currently, aside from the Azure the Arch Palace, the 9-layer pavilion was the core of the Azure the Arch dynasty. Many of the orders were issued by Yi Shang. Night Sorrow. Because no one was jealous of Yi Shang's high status and power. Qing Lin and Qing Wan didn't have any objections. The other princes were the same. Because of Yi Shang's appearance, the Qing imperial dynasty's prestige had become even greater. The main characters of the wedding, Sandalwood and Yi, also stayed in the 9-story building. Their own palace, the Heavy Flower Palace, had been built. They didn't go back. They would move in directly after the wedding. Sandalwood told Night Sorrow that he would cultivate in the Reincarnation Palace after the wedding. Yi didn't have many friends and acquaintances, so she would stay in the 9-story building. Night Sorrow had no problem. Sandalwood was his respected senior brother, and Yi was his sister-in-law. After Yi met Night Sorrow for a few days, she understood why Sandalwood was willing to do anything for Night Sorrow. It was because it was worth it. Night Sorrow was charismatic and had a strong bond. Some military officials often went to Night Sorrow to ask for instructions. Commander Tan, why didn't you tell Master about the transfer of the city guards? Why did you come to me? I'm only the commander of the 9 Heavens Army, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the transfer order that Tan Lin was holding. His Majesty said that you can make all the decisions in the military from now on. You can just come to His Majesty, Tan Lin said. Night Sorrow rubbed his forehead. This was happening more and more often. His Majesty said that you can make all the decisions. We can't delay His Majesty's cultivation, Tan Lin said. Okay. For now, the armies of the Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's empire have all retreated. This shows that there won't be any war in the short term, which means that during my senior brother's wedding, there will be no war. Therefore, the city guards of each city can be transferred. However, we have to be careful of the surrounding small forces, Night Sorrow said. After sending Tan Lin away, Night Sorrow went to the martial arts arena and continued to make tea. Why did Master make this arrangement? If you can do it well, Master will be rest assured. I don't know what Master is busy with these days. I went twice, but Master didn't see me, Jean Tan said. Night Sorrow thought for a while and understood. The Qing emperor must have gone to study the heavenly mandate scriptures. However, he didn't say anything about it. Jean Tan wasn't at that level yet. If it was Night Sorrow, he would tell her. A few days later, people came to the Qing emperor's empire one after another. However, they were all received by Xian Daozi and Sheng Guanhong. The Qing emperor didn't show up. On this day, Night Sorrow was trying to get the feel of the sky splitter when Chiu brought someone who surprised him. It was Datura Datura. The Qing emperor hasn't been seeing guests recently. I can't stay in the guest house with nothing to do. After thinking about it, I came to see His Majesty Night Sorrow, who destroyed an army of the Dark Abyss, Datura Datura said. His words were very formal. Of course, they were for others to hear. What do you mean? Jean Tan, who had been sitting, stood up. Senior brother, it's nothing. The Lord Ruler is a guest. He won't lower himself to my level. Please take a seat, Lord Ruler. Night Sorrow invited Datura Datura to sit down and sat down himself. After being locked up for 5 million years, your temper still hasn't disappeared, Datura Datura said, looking at Jean Tan. Lord Ruler, the situation isn't like that. His Majesty Jean Tan's state of mind is very good. He just doesn't want His Majesty to be bullied, Summer City said. /_Q front page first. Jean Tan didn't say anything. That was the truth. 5 million years in the Demon's Ceiling Tower had made his state of mind very peaceful. However, when it came to Night Sorrow, he couldn't calm down. I can understand the brotherhood between brothers. Datura Datura nodded. Her tone was also very calm. Everyone here was Night Sorrow's people. They would have to interact more in the future, so she kept her personality in check. My junior brother is still young. Please don't lower yourself to his level, Lord Ruler. Seeing that Datura Datura didn't have any intention of denouncing him, Jean Tan stood up and cupped his hands. It's his fortune to have a senior brother like you. Night Sorrow, how about I rest in your 9 grand floors for a while? Datura Datura asked. How could he not? Night Sorrow wanted Datura Datura to move in, but he didn't have a reason. Now that Datura Datura said so, it was appropriate. Steward arrange a pavilion for the Lord Ruler to rest in. Also, make arrangements for the Lord Ruler's followers, Night Sorrow said to Chiu. I also have a group of guards. Bring them in as well. If someone doesn't know better, they can protect me, Datura Datura said. Nonsense. This is nonsense, Summer City thought. Who would dare to harm Datura Datura? The guards were brought in to protect Night Sorrow. Chapter 1265. Night Sorrow asked Chiu to arrange a place for Datura Datura and asked Fei Xiu to bring Datura Datura's guards over. The matter was settled. Xia Cheng also admired Yi Shang's ability to keep his composure. There wasn't the slightest bit of abnormality. Junior brother, this is a dangerous person. But since she's here, she won't be a threat to you, Jean Tan said. Our previous conflict was a war, not a personal grudge. She won't hurt me. Night Sorrow felt that the fewer people who knew about his relationship with Datura Datura, the better. He was not trying to hide it from anyone, but it was not a good time to spread it. She doesn't have any killing intent. With her status, she won't do anything to you, Jean Tan nodded. At night, Night Sorrow was reading the information that Jun Xuanji had compiled in the main hall of the 9-story building. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the main hall. It was Datura Datura. Night Sorrow got up and brought Datura Datura into the study. Ah Luo, aren't you afraid that my senior brother and Uncle Summer will find out? If they find out, then so be it. I've already said that you can go to the Dark Abyss to propose at any time. I'm not afraid of others finding out. Datura Datura pulled a chair and sat beside Night Sorrow. All right. When the time is right, I'll go propose. Night Sorrow nodded and got up to make tea. Night Sorrow, your senior brother is really good to you, Datura said. Of course. A few days ago, senior brother even went to deal with Chihuahua for me. Oh right, I've told Master about us. Master is also very happy, Night Sorrow said. If he knows, then he knows. He won't object. Do you know why the eastern district of the world of reincarnation is stable and why the other districts and powers don't want to provoke them? Because of your master's existence, both the Red Emperor and I trust him. He's a gentleman, so there's trust in the East District. At critical moments, we can unite against the outside world. Now, the Qing Emperor's imperial dynasty needs to settle some matters, and the Red Emperor's imperial army has retreated. This is an attitude of unity against the outside world, Datura said. I understand. Originally, senior brother's wedding was not a big deal, but my matter might be a dispute. I've been in the Ice Dragon realm for more than 20 years, and I've been quiet for more than 20 years. Now that I've returned, some people won't let me go. Night Sorrow was still worried. Who's afraid? Your master is a gentleman, but he has the anger of a gentleman. Whoever dares to cross the line will have to test your master's anger. Whoever dares to touch you, I'll kill them. There's no need to say anything else. The Red Emperor will also stand out, Datura said. I seem to be a jinx. Night Sorrow drank a mouthful of tea. What nonsense. You're a lucky star. Your appearance may cause some things, but what follows is a rise. A virtuous body is a jinx. If this were to spread, people would laugh their teeth off, Datura said with a smile. Isn't there still some time? You're here so early, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Look at the original L version equals our chapter. I'm early. Don't you welcome me? Datura stared at Night Sorrow with her beautiful eyes. No, how could that be? I couldn't wait for you to come, Night Sorrow quickly explained. He didn't want anyone around him to be unhappy. Actually, I just missed you. I wanted to come early when I had nothing to do. Datura's voice was a little lower. Aluo, our meeting may not be a happy one, but the result is good. I'm very happy to have your feelings. Thank you, Night Sorrow said. You're saying this again. This is fate. I don't want to listen to this. Let me ask you, did you miss me? Datura moved her chair closer to Night Sorrow. They sat side by side and leaned her head on Night Sorrow's shoulder. Of course I miss you. That's why I'm working hard to cultivate now. It's for the future, Night Sorrow said. You don't have to work too hard. You're weaker than me, but when I'm by your side, I feel at ease. I feel like you can handle anything. Even if the sky were to collapse, I wouldn't have to worry about anything, said Montua. Night Sorrow reached out and hugged Datura. He gently patted Datura's arm. He knew that no matter how strong Datura was, she was still a woman. Seeing Datura leaning on his shoulder with her eyes closed, Night Sorrow didn't move. Then, he realized that Datura had fallen asleep. Night Sorrow's mind was filled with everything that had happened since they met. He was very satisfied with what he had now. After the Sandalwood wedding, he would return to the Tiannan dynasty to seek justice for the Yi family. In addition, he had to deal with the evil spirit king and Sungjiang. Then, he would have no worries. After the night passed, Datura woke up at dawn. She stretched her waist and looked at Night Sorrow. You're just going to sit here and let me lean on you? Yes, Luo, you're so beautiful. Night Sorrow nodded. At this moment, Datura had an elegant and gentle beauty. I'm leaving. It's not good to be seen. Datura tidied her skirt and disappeared from the study. Night Sorrow exhaled and left the study. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Yi Qianhua and Yi Tian appeared. Sit. Great ancestors, even if you're wandering outside, you should come back to visit when you're free, Night Sorrow said. Recently, I've been comprehending will, Yi Qianhua said. That's a good thing. Now that you have 70% will, you'll enter the king realm if you work harder. Night Sorrow was very happy to see Yi Qianhua's progress. I'm still a little short. It's like this. Now that the Tiannan dynasty has retreated, I want to return to the Yi family's land. That used to be my home, Yi Qianhua said. I'm sorry. I didn't think of this. The original land of the Tiannan dynasty hasn't been occupied yet. Great ancestor, you can just announce it. As for how to develop it, you can discuss it with the Yi family, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, you're now the head of the Yi family. We have to discuss it with you, Yi Tian said. Since when am I the head of the family? There are so many elders here. I don't have the right to speak. Everyone can discuss it as they see fit, Night Sorrow said. Many years ago, the Yi family had a meeting and decided that you're the head of the family. However, everything is handled by the elders, Yi Qianhua said. I have no objections. No one in the Tiannan world will attack us now. It's good to rebuild it. After all, it's the roots of the Yi family. It's the ancestral land of the Yi family. However, safety comes first, Night Sorrow said. Yi Qianhua and Night Sorrow nodded. They knew that if Night Sorrow said that no one would attack them, no one would attack them. Also, don't go into seclusion for the time being. Later, I'll go settle the Tiannan dynasty's matter. What they owe us, we must pay. No one can stop us. Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with determination. Then we'll return to the 9-domain world. We'll first occupy the ancestral land and wait for your news. We'll be there when the battle starts, Yi Qianhua said. It's 5:00 in the morning. I'm in a daze. I have to go to sleep. I'll continue working in the morning. It's the end of the month. Those brothers and sisters who have spent money will give out devil fruits. Those who have spent 1 yuan will get 1 devil fruit. Excavators and Lulu don't cost money. I'll use them every day. The next few updates will be in place on time. I said that I'll guarantee a minimum of 4 updates. I'll explode from time to time. It's not empty words. Chapter 1266. Okay. Here are some Holy Spirit stones. Take them. Night Sorrow gave the 2 of them some more. After the 2 left, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea beside the arena. Datura walked over and sat down. Steward I didn't see Uncle Xia and Senior Brother today. Where are they? Night Sorrow asked Hicho. Uncle Xia said he was going to accompany Miss Yi and Jean Tan to buy wedding clothes. I don't know what's going on. Uncle Xia has never asked about these things before. Hicho was puzzled. Yes. Maybe it's a whim. You should go and see if there's anything you can help with in the mansion. Night Sorrow instructed Hicho. Night Sorrow understood why Uncle Xia did this. It was to make it easier for him to talk to Datura. Xia City has such an understanding. Not bad, Mandela said with a smile. Uncle Xia looks fierce, but he's very kind to me. He's always considerate of me. I've promised Uncle Xia that I'll let him retire in the city in the sky once things are stable. Night Sorrow said. Okay. By the way, how did it feel when you hugged me yesterday? Datura casually set up a barrier and asked Night Sorrow with a smile. What? I asked you to lean on me and hug me. If others hear this, they'll misunderstand. Night Sorrow was speechless at Datura's words. You didn't hug me? A man has to admit to his actions. Are you sure you didn't hug me? Datura looked at Night Sorrow with a big smile on his face. I did. I hugged my fiancé. What's wrong with that? Night Sorrow said. It's nothing. I just want you to admit it. Don't do it. If you don't want to admit it, I'm not the kind of person who keeps quiet. Mandela picked up the teapot and poured a cup of tea for Yishang. At this time, Jean Tan, who was shopping in Qing Emperor City, was a little distracted. Uncle Xia, I'm worried that the Dark Dominator won't hurt Junior Brother. But to be frank, Junior Brother will be wronged. You're thinking too much. Night Sorrow will take care of some things. Don't worry. Let's walk around and see if there's anything else we need. Summer City dragged Jean Tan away. Jean Tan was confused, but she still followed Xia Cheng and continued shopping. Mandela and Yi Shang were chatting. Yi Shang, I feel very happy right now. Is this what the books say about mutual love? Yi Shang nodded. Actually, he really enjoyed this moment. When Jean Tan came back, she saw Night Sorrow and Datura sitting in the martial arts practice field. They were talking and laughing. She was puzzled, but she didn't go there. After 2 days of peace, the Red Emperor took Akatsuki and Chiwa to the Jochong building. The Red Emperor and Datura saluted each other. They were both giants in the eastern district of the world of Samsara, so they had to be polite. Red Moon, I'm sorry for what happened last time. It shouldn't have happened. No matter how big the conflict is, I shouldn't have hurt your son. I've done the same for so many years. But Chidu crossed the line. Datura looked at the Red Emperor and said, the stability of the eastern district of the world of Samsara is because all three of us stick to the line. I didn't think it through last time. You've crossed the line. The Red Emperor said. Datura nodded. She didn't explain because she was afraid of the Red Emperor, but for the sake of the overall situation. She wanted to give the Red Emperor a way out. She could kill Zhan Taiyang. How could she be afraid of the Red Emperor? Of course not. The Red Emperor also understood this. The Red Emperor's name was Red Moon. Night Sorrow, you're a junior. I won't blame you for killing Chidu. But Chidu has brothers. I don't care about the fight between you two. But there's a line that can't be crossed. I'll admit that I didn't educate Chidu well. In addition, Chiwa apologizes. The Red Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and nodded to Chiwa. Chiwa was rude to challenge you before. It's my fault. But Chiwa won't forget that you killed my brother. When you reach the Monarch realm, let's fight. Chiwa saluted to Night Sorrow. I, Night Sorrow, will remember your Highness Chiwa's challenge. Night Sorrow nodded. I'm the only one that's authentic, but I'm the only one that's pirated. Jean Tan, your opponent should be me. But your wedding is coming soon. Let's not talk about this. I'm here to congratulate you. Let's talk about this later. Let's see who can take the next step first, Akatsuki said to Jean Tan. Okay. Jean Tan saluted. She had to be polite when someone came to congratulate her. Datura, aren't you angry that Datura is so arrogant? The Qing Emperor looked at Datura and asked. What are you talking about? You and I have known Qing Shangjuan for so many years. Don't we know what kind of person he is? Everyone has something urgent to deal with. He wouldn't go out of his way to meet someone, Datura said. Qing Shangjuan was the name of the Qing Emperor. That's true. Let's not talk about it. Let's go. Red Emperor turned and left. Night Sorrow also sent them to the entrance of the 9 grand floors. No matter what kind of person the Red Emperor was, he brought his son to apologize today. This was a rare strength of character. In addition, as a Titan, he was also qualified to be respected by others. I didn't expect that, Night Sorrow muttered after returning to the side of the martial arts practice field. Chiyu is hard to say, sometimes his style of doing things is very imposing, sometimes he is unscrupulous, but he said something right, his education method is wrong, Chidu's killing of soldiers is too willful, such a thing shouldn't have happened. In addition, Chidu went to the 9 Firmament World Group, this shouldn't have happened, the Crimson Emperor should know this. However, his education method also brought up several very wild sons. Akatsuki and Chiwa are both very outstanding, Summer City said. Datura nodded. As a cultivator, he respected the fact that the Red Emperor had several outstanding sons. No one could deny this. When Jean Tan stayed in the Demon Ceiling Tower, Akatsuki was the first of the second generation in the eastern district of the world of Samsara. In the next few days, people came to the Qing Emperor's dynasty one after another. Half a month after the invitations were sent out, the Qing Emperor appeared. During this time, he studied the scripture of heavenly mandate. Now he understood it. The Qing Emperor first went to the Jiuchong building and saw Datura. He expressed his apology. Datura naturally didn't care about this. Then the Qing Emperor looked at Jean Tan and Knight Sorrow. Other Qing Emperor giants brought their outstanding disciples to the Qing Emperor's dynasty. My disciples are not bad either. You two follow me. Let's go to the Yingbin building. Master, don't you want to bring senior brother Qinglin and senior sister Qingwan? Otherwise, they will feel uncomfortable, Knight Sorrow said. He didn't want Qinglin and Qingwan to feel uncomfortable. After all, the Qing Emperor was their father. Okay, we'll listen to you. Someone tell Qinglin and Qingwan to come here. The Qing Emperor nodded and agreed. Qing Emperor Wei, Summer City, and Jean Tan were all surprised. The Qing Emperor never changed his decision because of other people's words. Qing Shangjuan, this is not like you, Datura said. Chapter 1267. That's not a big deal. My decision is right because I want to bring the best ones. But Knight Sorrow is also right. If I only bring Sandalwood and Knight Sorrow, it will affect Green Lin and Green Phoenix's state of mind. No one said these words before. Now that Knight Sorrow is willing to say it, Knight Sorrow is also right. Said the Qing Emperor. After Green Lin and Green Phoenix arrived, the Qing Emperor took them to the VIP building of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. It was an exclusive area with many independent pavilions. First, they met the Red Emperor. After all, he was also a giant in the eastern district of the world of Samsara. After drinking 2 cups of tea, the Red Emperor stood up. We haven't talked directly or met for many years, so we didn't say some words face to face. I was young and impetuous, which caused Nyoer's death. I'm sorry, and thank you for your tolerance for many years. Nyoer, I have let him down. For many years, I have been wavering between revenge and tolerance. He is my oldest brother. The Qing Emperor heaved a sigh of relief. If it's now, I won't hurt him. The battle was too fierce. The Red Emperor said. Can we burn some incense? This resentment is over. I have to explain it to Nyoer. We don't need to leave a reason for a life and death battle. The Qing Emperor looked at Knight Sorrow and said. No problem. The resentment is over. We can fight in the future. We don't need to fight for revenge. The Crimson Emperor nodded his head. He understood that the reason why the Azure Emperor didn't want to fight with him was because he wanted to maintain the balance in the eastern region of the world of reincarnation. It was because of the big picture. When the balance was no longer needed, the Azure Emperor would look for him to settle the grudge with Nyoer. It was best to resolve it now. Then the Qing Emperor took the 4 princes of the Qing Emperor's dynasty and Summer City to leave the guest building where the Red Emperor lived. He took the 4 princes for the sake of appearances. Summer City used to be his personal guard, so he should follow him. Summer City, this is the only way to avenge Nyoer. The Qing Emperor said after leaving the guest building where the Red Emperor lived. If the Red Emperor is willing to burn incense, Nyoer can rest in peace. He will understand your majesty. Summer City said. The Qing Emperor nodded. He didn't want to give up, but the Qing Emperor's dynasty also needed the overall situation. After the Qing Emperor left, the Red Emperor was lost in thought. Tianxin, Chiwa, you have to work hard. The Qing Emperor used to be the strongest in the eastern district of the world of Samsara, but he has a good temperament. Now Datura's strength suddenly skyrocketed. Father is the weakest. They won't destroy the Red Emperor's dynasty, but it's not a good feeling. Akatsuki and Chiwa nodded. Among the younger generation, Qinglin and Qingwan have exhausted their potential and can't do much. But Sandalwood is different. After 5 million years of accumulation, once he rises, he will have a chance to become a giant. The most terrible one is Night Sorrow. He is young, but his strength has been increasing rapidly. His strength will be limitless in the future. The Red Emperor evaluated the princes of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Night Sorrow's breath is calm. I can't see anything. Akatsuki said. You don't have enough vision. His aura is not leaking out. This is his realm. Emperor Qing, Emperor Mandela, and I can't do it, but he has done it. I can clearly sense that he is a 4-star sovereign king at the peak, but I can't sense the flow of energy. This is a sign that his energy is not leaking out, and he has perfect control over it. The Crimson Emperor expressed his feelings. Akatsuki and Chiwa looked at each other. After hearing the Red Emperor's words, they realized that they had ignored the problem. Because Night Sorrow's cultivation was much lower than theirs, they didn't pay attention to it. In every era, there are geniuses who are born and run amok. Night Sorrow cultivated to the peak of the 4-star king in 100 years. This is too rare. In this era, he will become the most dazzling monster. The possibility of a person with a body of merit falling is very small. There is no need. Don't be too strict in doing things. We are allies with the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Red Emperor looked at his 2 sons and said, Father, are we really going to let go of Chidu's revenge? Chiwa asked. Chidu went to the 9 Clouds World Group because he planned to make a move on Night Sorrow's family. Father acquiesced. This is the loss of father's virtue. There is nothing to say about the loss of a son. Revenge. Chidu was captured by Datura Datura. The main enemy is Datura Datura. Who can do anything to her? She can kill a sky pillar tycoon and run amok. If we eat this loss, we have to admit it. The Red Emperor opened his mouth and said something that he didn't want to mention. Akatsuki and Chiwa hurriedly bowed and said that they didn't dare. After Chidu fell, I did some reflection. In terms of strength, I am not as good as Datura Datura or Qing Emperor. My temperament and cultivation are not enough. To be honest, for many years, they have been tolerating us. This is also a kindness. As a person, we can't forget our roots. The Red Emperor said. Everyone had different states of mind at different times, and so did the Sky Pillar tycoons. The Qing Emperor arrived at the guest house where the Sky Pillar sect was located. Ling Tian and Elder Jia both stood up and cupped their hands to the Qing Emperor. Thank you, Sect Master Ling and Elder Jia, for coming to the Qing Emperor's city to attend my disciple's wedding. The Qing Emperor said. Brother Qing's invitation has reached the Sky Pillar sect, so I naturally have to come. Ling Tian nodded, and then his eyes fell on the people behind the Qing Emperor, and finally fixed on Night Sorrow. At this time, Ling Ju's eyes were about to spit fire when he looked at Night Sorrow. If eyes could kill, then Night Sorrow would have been cut into pieces. Young man, are you Night Sorrow? Ling Tian asked. Night Sorrow greets Sect Master Ling. Night Sorrow bowed and said. Don't you think that what you did to Ling Ju of the Sky Pillar sect was a bit too much? After all, we are all from the world of samsara. Ling Tian's eyes were very sharp, and even ordinary people couldn't bear it. Did I, Night Sorrow, go too far? Ling Ju brought a person and 2 high-level king realm cultivators and killed me without saying anything. Is that not enough? Night Sorrow was very disgusted by Ling Tian's tone. Impudent. How dare you speak to our sect master with such a tone? Chang Xiangxi stood out and stared at Night Sorrow with a pair of dead fish eyes. You're the impudent one, you have no right to speak here. Sandalwood took a step forward and roared. Ling Tian, are you here to denounce us today? Qing Emperor spoke, and changed the way he addressed Ling Tian because Ling Tian's actions had already made him unhappy. Brother Qing, you must be joking. I came here to receive the wedding invitation, and was just casually asking. Brother Qing, you don't have to be so cautious. Ling Tian's smile was very fake. All right, when the auspicious day comes, I will send someone to invite you. Qing Emperor said. He knew that this was Ling Tian, and he was very good at using politics to the extreme. Forever free. Look, brat, don't think that you're so great. Disrespecting our sect master will not end well. Looking at Night Sorrow, Chang Xiangxi threw out a sentence. The Sky Pillar sect had the power to speak in the world of samsara, so their people were very arrogant and didn't put anyone in their eyes. Trying to scare me? Who do you think you are? You better not provoke me. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Chang Xiangxi. Dog, this is not the place for you to be so arrogant. Qing Wan was also angry. Chapter 1268. Lord Ling, take him back and teach him a lesson. Qing Emperor glanced at Chang Xiangxi and then left with Night Sorrow and the others. After leaving the guest house, Qing Emperor said to Night Sorrow and the others, a gentleman doesn't quarrel with a villain. If he can bear it, he will. If he can't, he will take the opportunity to kill him. Senior sister, you scolded him. I'm not angry anymore. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Scold him? No, I didn't. Chang Xiangxi is a dog. Many people know that. He bites whoever he sees. Blue Phoenix said. Girls, even if he is like that, don't make it sound so bad. Qing Emperor glanced at his daughter and said. Then, Qing Emperor led the others to walk around several guest houses. Finally, they arrived at the Tang dynasty, the top force in the black-yellow world. The Tang dynasty was very powerful in the black-yellow Great World. Its current emperor was also the governor of the Tang city. Brother Qing, I'm here, but you haven't shown up for several days. What's the meaning of this? As soon as Qing Emperor entered the guest house, a middle-aged man wearing a white jade hairpin came out. The middle-aged man looked kind and peaceful. It was not a good thing to judge a book by its cover and look down on this middle-aged man. Because Tang Jianfeng, the smiling Yama, was not someone to be trifled with. Once he was trifled with, he would be in big trouble. Haha. Brother Tang, don't mind it. I've been thinking about something these days. Please forgive me if I neglect you. Qing Emperor walked quickly and said. Come, Tang Xian, Tang Yi, Tang Jun, Tang Bo, all of you come over. This is your father's best friend, the ruler of the Azure Emperor dynasty, Lord Azure Emperor, Tang Jianfeng said with a smile. Then, the 3 men and 1 woman behind Tang Jianfeng all saluted Qing Emperor. This is my only friend in the black-yellow Great World, City Lord Tang. He is also my best friend who has gone through life and death situations with me, Emperor Qing said to his disciples and children. You youngsters, go to the side and chat. Don't disturb us. Summer City, it's been a long time since we last met. Have a seat too. Tang Jianfeng waved his hand at the youngster and chased him away. Your aura is very familiar. Where have I seen you before? I remember now. Ice Dragon Realm. That day, when we were hunting an ice dragon, you passed by and flashed away. Tang Bo pointed at Night Sorrow and thought for a moment before remembering. I remember Brother Tang. It's just that I didn't know you back then, so I didn't get close and left. Yi Shang nodded. Tang Bo remembered Yi Shang's aura, and so did Yi Shang. A 4-star king can run amok in the Ice Dragon realm. Tang Bo admires you. Tang Bo cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. Those who hadn't been to the Ice Dragon realm didn't know the situation there, but Tang Bo knew how dangerous it was. When he probed Night Sorrow, he knew Night Sorrow was alone. Brother Tang, you flatter me. Night Sorrow also cupped his hands in return. The youngsters had a lot of topics to talk about. Tang Bo and the others also had a good impression of Night Sorrow, so they also invited Night Sorrow to visit the black-yellow Great World. Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng also chatted for a while before leaving with their disciples. They went straight back to the Azure Sky Pavilion. Today, I'll show you around. You know who's friendly and who's hostile. Be careful when you travel the Jianghu in the future. Qing Emperor looked at his disciples and children and said. Night Sorrow and the others nodded. No matter what kind of language they used, their attitudes were different from each other. Summer City, take care of Night Sorrow during this time. There are some brave people who aren't afraid of death. Qing Emperor told Summer City. Summer City nodded. He knew that this was a special time. After Qing Emperor left, Tang Jianfeng also talked with the 3 men and 1 woman he brought. Tang Xian, Tang Yi, Tang Jun, and Tang Bo were the 4 of them. Tang Jun was his nephew, and the other 3 were his children. First. Tang Bo, do you know that young man? Tang Jianfeng looked at Tang Bo and asked. I've seen him in the Ice Dragon realm. He's alone without a team, and he's very fast, Tang Bo said. That young man is truly extraordinary. He doesn't leak any of his aura at all, but there's the will of spacetime revolving around him. His future is boundless. In addition, it's rumored that he has a heavenly Tao divine artifact. However, all these have nothing to do with us. No matter what he has, he is someone from the Azure Imperial Empire. Father, I didn't see you and Qing Emperor walking together. Tang Xian said. The friendship between gentlemen is as light as water. If there is a friendship, it will be the same even if there is no interaction. Back then, I don't know how many years ago, we were still sovereigns. We were adventuring in the world of reincarnation together. That time, we almost died, but we survived in the same boat. After that, we often went on missions together, so our friendship is real. It is a friendship that has gone through life and death together. If you are adventuring in the world of reincarnation, you can pay a visit when you have time. Tang Jianfeng said. Tang Xian and the others nodded. They all took this matter seriously because Tang Jianfeng had never said that he had a good relationship with anyone. Now that he said it, it meant that their friendship was very strong. Night Sorrow stayed in the Azure Sky Pavilion for a while before leaving. Sandalwood, Qing Lin, and Qing Luan also left the Azure Sky Pavilion. Junior brother Night, you're currently in the limelight, so be careful, Qing Luan said. Thank you, senior sister Qing Luan. I'll be careful. Night Sorrow nodded. He also knew that it would be very chaotic recently. None of those powerful figures were soft-footed crabs. They were all cunning old foxes. After separating, Night Sorrow, Sandalwood, and Summer City returned to the Nine Chong Pavilion. Did you go around? Datura asked. I went around and got to know those powerful figures and the young talents of the various forces. Night Sorrow nodded. Did you have any problems? Datura asked again. She was mainly worried that someone would harm Night Sorrow. It's nothing. I was just bitten twice by a dog. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Datura looked at Summer City and Sandalwood and didn't say anything. She was angry, but she didn't express it because it wasn't appropriate. Lord Ruler, it was a dog raised by the celestial sex Ling Tian. It's called Chang Xiangxi. It's nothing. Summer City said. So it's him. Then it's nothing. If he bites you, you can't bite him back. If you're really angry, just break his teeth. Datura said. Night Sorrow smiled. This was Datura. He didn't hide his emotions. He really wanted to ask Datura why the celestial sect was so arrogant without a powerful figure. However, Night Sorrow also knew that if it was appropriate for him to know, Datura and the Qing Emperor would tell him. The celestial sect is really arrogant. Looking at that old man's face, I really want to slap him twice. It's really infuriating. Sandalwood said. There are many people who want to slap his old face. You're not the only one. Datura looked at Sandalwood and said. Chapter 1269. After that, Jean Tan went to look for Yi, and Summer City also left. Only Night Sorrow and Datura were left sitting in the pavilion next to the martial arts arena. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. Night Sorrow, the waters of this boundless world are very deep. The celestial sect is arrogant even though they don't have a heaven master because they have inheritance, puppet techniques, and heaven master level puppets. Who would be willing to fight to the death with a puppet? The price is completely unequal. Datura looked at Night Sorrow with curiosity in his eyes and said, Heaven master level puppets? Night Sorrow stood up in surprise. That's right, so no one is willing to provoke this group of mad dogs unless they go too far and cross the bottom line. Datura explained the reason why the celestial sect could be so arrogant. Night Sorrow nodded and understood the reason. Who would be willing to fight to the death with a puppet? If you die, it's your life, but if they die, it's a puppet. Just be yourself. Don't jump around. We're not afraid even if they jump, Datura said. Ah Luo, I've troubled you with my matters, said Yishan. I don't like what you're saying. In addition, I have something to tell you today. It's also very important. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. Say it. I will take what you say to heart and value it. Night Sorrow nodded. There's an opponent in my destiny. We haven't met, but we both know that she should look exactly like me. I'm worried that she will harm you. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. Then Datura told Night Sorrow that the dark abyss was also known as the Kingdom of Death, and there was a faint yellow spring river. Datura was the Datura who was born by the Yellow Spring River, but there was another kind of yellow spring river called Datura chinensis. Datura was the Datura king, and the Datura chinensis was the same. They were also successful in cultivation. Datura was not evil and was even kind, but the Datura chinensis represented terror and evil. Where is she? Night Sorrow asked. I don't know. The faint yellow spring river runs through the void, not only in the world of reincarnation. It exists in any world, but it exists in any world. I don't know where Datura chinensis was born, but I have a feeling that she will come into the world for her to cause trouble for me. I was for her, for me, for you. I for you, she will find trouble with me. Don't worry, we will take care of everything. Night Sorrow said. Datura shook her head at Night Sorrow. Then, energy erupted from her body, and a mysterious aura enveloped her and Night Sorrow. Mandela took out her machete and waved it. The tip of the machete made a cut on her left hand near her wrist. Then, she drew a flower on Night Sorrow's wrist. Night Sorrow's body was strong, but he still could not block Datura's knife. A flower appeared on his wrist in a moment. Because of the death energy, Night Sorrow's wound healed, but it also left a scar. I used my life energy to isolate the karma of the heavenly Tao and left a mark on our bodies. Remember, we have to pay attention to each other when we meet. She's the same as me. Other than her clothes being different, everything else might be the same. I'm worried that she'll transform and appear. Night Sorrow looked at his left hand and nodded at Datura. He understood that if Datura was so serious, the matter must be very serious. You don't have to worry too much. I just have a feeling. I am not afraid of her in terms of strength. Datura looked at Night Sorrow's nervous face and said with a smile. I, Night Sorrow, am willing to bear all of this. So, if there is anything, don't worry. We will bear it together. Night Sorrow said. At this moment, Mandala's body spun, and her body transformed into a white silk dress. Actually, I was originally like this. It's just that I didn't want to fight and scheme against each other, which would taint this purity. Mandala Lily is a red silk dress. I will remember. Night Sorrow nodded. Then Datura returned to the black dress with Datura embroidered on it. You are a body of merit. Some products of the heavenly path will not kill you easily. It is not good for them, but they have no qualms about killing you, Datura said. Luo, you don't have to worry too much about me. You have your own path, and so do I. You have to hurry up and cultivate. I feel that after cultivating the true scripture of heavenly mandate, my actual ability has improved a lot, Yishang said. Do you think I am stupid? If I didn't cultivate with such a good thing, would have gone into seclusion to cultivate. The one you were hugging yesterday was also a clone. Datura's eyes were full of smiles. What a loss. It's not worth it. Night Sorrow glanced at Montua. Aren't you also a clone? Seriously. Datura glared at Night Sorrow. The next few days were peaceful, and Night Sorrow hoped that this peace would continue so that Sandalwood's wedding would go smoothly. He knew that the people who had come were all top powers, and they would not make a small fuss. If they did make a move, it would be a huge matter. Jun Xuanji sent a message to Night Sorrow. The Black Fiend Valley, the Celestial Sect, Sky Seizing Island, and Shinwu Continent's Martial God Hall often interacted with each other. This time, Sky Seizing Island's Zhan Taiyang had also come, and the Qing Emperor had also sent an invitation. Jun Xuanji could not refuse to come. If he did not dare to show up, then Sky Seizing Island would not be able to survive. He had only lost to Datura, but he was still on par with the other powerhouses. Night Sorrow felt that a storm was brewing, but he knew that since the information was in his hands, the Qing Emperor should already know. When Night Sorrow communicated with Datura, he also mentioned this matter. Snakes and rats alike, but it doesn't matter. So what if they are working together? The Eastern District of the Reincarnation Realm is not afraid, Datura said. Luo, they are working together to put pressure on the Qing Emperor's dynasty and force the Qing Emperor's dynasty to hand me over, Night Sorrow said. That is very likely, but there are so many forces here, and the other forces will not let them do as they wish. Sigh, the Qing Emperor is holding a grand wedding for Sandalwood at this time. Although it is to fulfill a wish, it is also to bring trouble to himself. Datura felt that the Qing Emperor's style of doing things was very different from before. Senior Sandalwood has been suppressed for 5 million years. Master wants to give him a perfect start, Night Sorrow said. Datura nodded. She could understand the Qing Emperor's actions. They were supported by his emotions. In the evening, Datura arrived at the Qing Emperor's palace. The Qing Emperor personally welcomed Datura into the Azure Sky Pavilion. Release the blockade. The Dark Abyss Bloodstrike Guards want to enter the Qing Emperor's city, Datura said after entering the Azure Sky Pavilion. The Qing Emperor nodded. Thank you for your trouble. You have to know what kind of person Ling Tian is, so you have to be prepared. This is a matter of the Qing Emperor's dynasty, but it is also a matter of the Eastern District of the Reincarnation Realm. We can't afford to lose, Datura said, then turned and left. Yes, we can't afford to lose, the Qing Emperor muttered to himself. Authentic, Your Majesty, what should we do? Xian Daozi was a little anxious. Fight. I haven't fought for many years, and many people think that I have a good temper. I will come out in 3 days. The Qing Emperor's eyes were filled with killing intent. Chapter 1270. It was Qing Emperor's doppelganger that stayed in the Azure Sky Pavilion. His original body had been cultivating for many years. Everyone wanted to improve their strength. Recently, when Night Sorrow came back, his doppelganger studied the heavenly mandate scripture. His original body had begun to cultivate. Qing Emperor also had a treasure that could accelerate time. Although it was not as terrifying as Night Sorrow's time and space pagoda, it was several times faster. His original body had already mastered it. His original body's strength had increased again, so Qing Emperor was not afraid to fight now. Good. If anyone dares to provoke us, we will fight. Xian Daozi was also in high spirits. Qing Emperor nodded. He had always been the strategist and used his wisdom to control the Qing Emperor's dynasty in the world of samsara. Now, he felt that many people had forgotten that he, Qing Emperor, had also won the world through killing. Night Sorrow chatted with Datura every day. Datura told Night Sorrow that the heavenly mandate scripture was very effective and that she had also mastered it. Luo, how did you do it so fast? I remember that it took me a long time to master it, Night Sorrow said. Spatial treasures. Spatial treasures that can accelerate time are hard to come by, but there are still some in the supreme world. They are not as powerful as your pagoda of time and space, but they can still accelerate time by 3 to 5 times. However, cultivating the heavenly mandate scripture is too painful. It is simply unbearable, Mandela said. Indeed, but is this doppelganger not going to cultivate it? Night Sorrow looked at Datura and asked. There is no hurry. My original body's combat strength is the most important. My original body will come soon. When this storm is over, I will go and cultivate it, Datura said. Under normal circumstances, when the original body had successfully cultivated the secret combat techniques, the doppelganger could also use them. However, this true scripture of heavenly mandate could not be used. It could not be relied on perception alone. The original body and the doppelganger had to personally cultivate in order to have this ability. After all, condensing energy points in the body was not something that could be achieved through perception alone. Night Sorrow's clone had finished cultivating, but his original body had not yet finished cultivating. Now, his original body was comprehending the will of heaven and earth while cultivating the true scripture of heavenly mandate. If that's the case, my master's cultivation should be completed soon, and his combat strength will also increase, Night Sorrow said. That should be the case. Datura nodded. A month of wedding preparations passed by quickly. The wedding was held at the Heavy Flower Palace. The Qing Emperor sat in the main seat, and the leaders of various forces sat in the audience seats on both sides. The 3 princes, Night Sorrow, Green Unicorn, and Green Phoenix, sat to the left of the Qing Emperor. Behind them was a prince. The host was Xian Daozi. First, they paid respects to heaven and earth, then to their parents and teacher. Their parents were memorial tablets, because Sandalwood and Yi's family had long since passed away. Then, they paid respects to their teacher and offered tea. Sandalwood, I am very happy to see you get married. Today is your new beginning, the Qing Emperor said after receiving the tea. Thank you for your teachings, teacher. Thank you for not giving up for all these years, Sandalwood said with a bow. Authentic. Good. Xian Daozi, the ceremony continues. The Qing Emperor waved his hand and sat down. Then, the couple bowed to each other, and the ceremony was completed. Sandalwood took the flagon from the maidservant beside her and came to Night Sorrow. Brother, normally, the older one does not respect the younger one, but this cup of wine is for you. Sandalwood took the flagon and poured 2 cups of wine, one for herself and one for Night Sorrow. Senior brother, there's no need to be so courteous between us. I wish senior brother and sister-in-law a happy life together. After receiving the wine cup, Yi Shang bowed to Qiantan and Yi before drinking the wine. What are you two looking at? Get up and toast to your brother and sister-in-law. Sandalwood said to Qinglin and Qingwan. Eldest brother has always been so fierce. How could we dare to interrupt? Qingwan waved at the maidservant who was holding a tray of wine and began to serve the wine. You two should be more obedient and harmonious. Why would I be fierce to you? The way you are now is very good, Sandalwood said, as he had seen the changes in Qinglin and Qingwan. Xian Daozi then announced that the ceremony was complete. At this time, a black-robed elder in the audience stood up. Brother Qing did not send an invitation to the Shenwu continent, but the martial god hall found out about your disciple's wedding and came to watch the ceremony. I thank the martial god hall and martial god Shiyang for coming. Qing Emperor cupped his hands. Now that the wedding is over, let's talk about something else. I heard that a brat from the Qing Emperor's empire obtained a heavenly Tao artifact. If Brother Qing had obtained it, then it would belong to the virtuous. Since Brother Qing did not obtain it, then take it out so that we can discuss who it belongs to, Martial God Shiyang of the Shenwu Great World's Martial God Hall said. Since when have you become so rational about snatching things? Qing Emperor looked at Shi Yang and asked. The worldly treasures belong to the virtuous. This is fate, and not even you can change this fate, martial god Shi Yang said. The virtuous will belong to the virtuous. Today, I will ask who wants the heavenly Tao artifact and who thinks they are virtuous. Qing Emperor stood up and scanned the crowd. At this time, some people stood up, including the Black Fiend Valley's Li Tianba and Li Tianhu, the Celestial Sect's Ling Tian, and the purple-crowned Zhan Taiyang. The leader of another power also stood up. That's right. There are quite a few of you. Are you virtuous? Let's not talk about whether or not my disciple has a heavenly Tao artifact. Even if he did, do you think he is more virtuous than him? Qing Emperor looked at Li Tianba and Li Tianhu. At the very least, we are powerhouses. What is he? He is not even a high-ranked king, Li Tianba said. There is a saying that one should not bully a poor youth. Who knows what will happen in the future? Tang Jianfeng said. The future is a matter for the future. At the very least, he does not have the qualifications to possess it. Martial god Shi Yang's gaze landed on Night Sorrow. Then do you have the qualifications to possess it? Besides, these are all groundless rumors, the Crimson Emperor said. At this moment, his words made his stance clear. Groundless rumors? There is a saying that there is no smoke without fire. If he swears to the heavenly Tao that he does not possess a heavenly Tao artifact, then this matter will be over, Zhan Taiyang said. I did not want to speak. What is going on? Do you think that our eastern region of the world of reincarnation is easy to bully and force to swear a heavenly Tao oath? Datura said. Who wants to cause trouble today? Stand up. I, Qing Shangjuan, am here. I have not had a conflict with anyone for many years. Do you think I am a pushover? Come. If you all want it, then come out and tell me. Qing Emperor's robes fluttered. A figure flashed in the direction of the azure sky pavilion and merged with him. Original body. It was Qing Emperor's original body. Qing Shangjuan, you should know that today's matter is irresistible. It is not something that you can bear alone. If he swears to the heavenly Tao oath that he has never seen a heavenly Tao artifact, then this matter will be over. If he does, then he must hand it over. There is no other way, Ling Tian said. You think you are worthy? Qing Emperor spat out 4 words. Chapter 1271. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. I'll bring you an exciting novel to read. Qing Shangjuan, don't be so stubborn. I've already said that the heavenly artifact belongs to the virtuous. Even if you ask your disciple to hand it over, you'll still have a chance to get it. Isn't that right? Ling Tian said. I'd rather die than live in dishonor. Whoever wants it, come out and fight. Qing Emperor didn't respond to Ling Tian's words at all. Master, disciple has a few words to say. Night Sorrow stood up and said. Night Sorrow, a gentleman must have an indomitable spirit. Being humble and polite is a must. However, when facing the enemy, one must be unyielding. If we were to be frightened by them and compromise, how can we face the world? How can we face ourselves? If there's anything, I'm here and I'll shoulder it. Qing Emperor said. He didn't want Night Sorrow to compromise when the situation was critical. Disciple understands Master's words. They're speaking in such a dignified manner. Disciple just has a few questions. Night Sorrow said. Good. Qing Emperor nodded. Everyone here is a big shot. Everyone wants the heavenly artifact. Of course, everyone wants it. However, there needs to be a reason and a reason. What's your reason and reason? The virtuous one owns the heavenly artifact. Do you think it's virtuous? Night Sorrow looked at the group of people coldly. Brat, you're still wet behind the ears. Do you think you're worthy of knowing what virtuous is? Ling Tian roared. Do I deserve to know what virtuous is? Then I'll let you know what virtuous is. After speaking, Night Sorrow activated his virtuous body. Instantly, 3 feet of golden light circled behind his head. Ling Tian's expression changed. He knew what was going on. This was the virtuous body. You're talking about virtuous with me? What virtuous do you have for the world? Let me see what you're like. Night Sorrow looked at Ling Tian. There's everything. It's much more stable than the average website. It's also updated faster. It's all text with no advertisements. Ling Tian didn't say anything. Night Sorrow had used reality to ruthlessly trample on their reason for leaving. One of you is a mute. What about the others? Putting aside whether or not I have a heavenly god artifact, even if I do, didn't you all say that it belongs to the virtuous? If any of you feel virtuous, you can step forward. Don't make it sound so glamorous. It's meaningless. No matter who dares to make a move today, I will first make them lose face. If you want to snatch it, sure, but if you are shameless, you can continue to torment me. Master, this disciple has finished speaking. Night Sorrow returned to his seat. Awkward silence. There was no sound in the huge square. Because Night Sorrow's move was ruthless enough, whoever brought up this matter in the future would be seen as shameless. Today's matter would definitely spread out. They were all big shots, so who would be willing to bear the name of being shameless? If he carried it on his back, he wouldn't be able to take it off. Furthermore, even if they were to bear the name of being shameless, it was hard to say whether they would be able to gain anything. There were so many big shots here. Not to mention other things, Qing Emperor was already difficult to pass. The Red Emperor and Datura had already expressed their stance and stood on Qing Emperor's side. Once the war started, it would be a fight to the death. There would be no end to it. No one was willing to accept such a thing. There's no need to make a big fuss over a rumor. Furthermore, even if Night Sorrow has a heavenly god artifact, he is also a virtuous person. There's nothing for you to say. Sit down and drink. Treat it as giving me, Tang Jianfeng, some face. I don't want anyone to cause trouble at someone else's wedding. Tang Jianfeng said. Hearing Tang Jianfeng's words, Ling Tian and the others sat down. Because today's matter was already impossible. If they wanted to obtain the heavenly god artifact, they would have to think of another way. Seeing the group of people sit down, Qing Emperor sat down. The banquet continued, but there was no harmony to speak of. The Azure Supreme the Arch did not mind. If Yi Shang wanted to fight, he would accompany him. However, he did not expect Yi Shang to use his opponent's words to counterattack, making it impossible for his opponent to counter. Most importantly, Yi Shang had the body of merit. After the banquet ended, Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and Datura and told Xian Daozi to send the shadow guards to the 9 grand floors. Originally, Qing Emperor didn't plan to let Night Sorrow return to the 9 grand floors because the 9 grand floors couldn't stop a big shot. However, with Datura as a guest in the 9 grand floors, he was relieved. With Datura in the 9 grand floors, the 9 grand floors was safer than the Azure Sky Pavilion. Night Sorrow, Summer City, and the others returned to the 9 grand floors. Chapter M of the original version, Section Z, Your Highness, can you let the Angry Lin army set up a defense? There will be a guard every 10 steps. No one can sneak in, Angry Lin said. Okay, then you make the arrangements. Night Sorrow nodded. He also knew that this was a special time. After returning to the hall of the 9 grand floors, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. I am the target of public criticism. I am being targeted by the real person. There was no big battle today, but after today, there will be endless secret battles. This is unavoidable. Datura nodded. How about this? I still have things to take care of. I will first destroy the Tian-Nan dynasty and then completely wipe out the 9 regions world's calamity. If I am not in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, they won't do anything to the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Night Sorrow said. Okay, but there is danger everywhere. We still have to be careful. The Sky Pillar wants the heavenly artifact too much, so they can do anything. They might go to the Nine Clouds World Group. Datura said. I will take one step at a time. If it doesn't work, I will go back to the Nine Regions world and not come out. I don't want Seven Night City anymore. If they dare to mess around, don't let me have the power. If I have the power, I will kill them one by one. Night Sorrow was a little angry because these things were too annoying. Right now, we need to be steady. We will do whatever we can to be steady. Datura could understand Night Sorrow's state of mind. After that, Night Sorrow asked Summer City to tell the Qing Emperor that he would go back to the Nine Regions world to take care of things. Then, Night Sorrow once again gave the power of the Nine Heavens army to Angry Lin. After he returned from Xia City, he told Yi Shang that the Azure Emperor agreed with Yi Shang's idea. Yi Shang should not get involved in this mess. It would be like this whether he was around or not. After he left, the Qing Emperor did not have any burden. Night Sorrow, there is no Sky Pillar in the Nine Clouds World Group. In order to prevent Sky Pillars from entering the Nine Clouds World Group, you can find the person in charge of the Nine Clouds World Group to close the teleportation formation. This way, other than your teleportation formation, no one else can enter the Nine Clouds World Group. The risk will be much lower, Datura said. That is a way. I need to communicate with the Divine Firmament Monarch. Also, Xuanji, inform the God-slaying team to return. After a while, I will start a war with the Tiannan dynasty, Night Sorrow said to Jun Xuanji. Okay, then the commander can go back first. I will inform and arrange things here, Jun Xuanji said. Your Highness, I and the Qing Emperor's guards can take care of these things. Summer City felt that there was no need to mobilize the God-slaying team because the members of the God-slaying team were still weak. The highest level was only a Saint King. No, they must participate. The Tiannan dynasty not only owes the Night Clan but also owes the people of the Nine Regions world. They must be present for the War of Revenge, Night Sorrow said. Summer City nodded. He also knew that this was not a matter of one person. Chapter 1272. Genius remembers love in 1 second go. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Read the full text. Xian Tian Sovereign and Shang Xi sat opposite each other. The two were old friends and had not seen each other for tens of thousands of years. At this time, Shang Xi was no longer king, but a sovereign. Brother Shang, the world is ever-changing. This king is powerless to change the situation of Tiannan dynasty today, Xian Tian Sovereign said. Tian Feng's destruction of human relations will come sooner or later. I know this very well. After all these years, I went to the other world and gained something, so I came back to take a look, the white-haired and white-bearded Shang Xi said. Brother Shang, don't worry about Tiannan dynasty's matters. Xian Tian Sovereign said. He knew that even if Shang Xi was a sovereign, he could not stop Night Sorrow's revenge. I already know some things. Now, no one can stop the Nine Domain World's revenge. They are also my daughter's descendants. I really can't bear to see them kill each other. Brother Qian is worried that I will get into trouble. I, Shang Xi, am not a person who can't differentiate between right and wrong. It is a matter of course for the Yi clan to seek revenge. Shang Xi nodded. The matter of his own children killing each other was extremely painful for him. This is a personal grudge. In addition, after Brother Shang left, Tiannan dynasty would kill and harvest the Nine Domain world every 10,000 years to collect Saint crystals as materials. This is an irreconcilable blood feud for the Nine Domain world, Xian Tian Sovereign said. Shang Xi nodded. In fact, the fault lies with me. Back then, my son-in-law and daughter were extremely talented and magnanimous. This made Tian Feng want to kill them. I should have dealt with it long ago, but I didn't expect him to be so crazy. I pity my daughter, my son-in-law, and my little grandson. Shaanxi was extremely sad because this was an indelible pain. The person in charge of 9 Domain World, Night Sorrow, is a member of the Night Clan. He is talented and has a meritorious body. He already has terrifying power in his hands. The Moon Demon Sovereign's death and the Grey Cloud Sovereign's death were all orchestrated by him. However, he is also your descendant. Xian Tian's sovereign said. He did not want Shaanxi and Night Sorrow to become enemies. Shaanxi was his old friend, and Night Sorrow had shown him kindness. Shaanxi nodded. There were some things that he knew he had to face. Night Sorrow brought Summer City and the Qing Emperor's guard back to Nine Clouds World. Then, he went to Nine Clouds City's palace and asked to see the Emperor of Divine Night. Since the Divine Firmament Sovereign was not around, Night Sorrow met with the Purple Firmament Sovereign. That's not a problem. Just let me know when you can, Sovereign Zishao said. This might have some effect on the 9 Firmament World group, but if anyone has urgent matters, they can go to the Sky Profound World. There will be people from the 7 Night City who will arrange for people to teleport there. That transmission array is strictly guarded, but there will be people who will enter the 9 Firmament World group to cause trouble. After some matters are resolved, the transmission array here can be reopened. Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow teleported back to 7 Night City. After meeting with Tai Shu Yen, Night Sorrow told her to inform the 9 Domains World's Commander-in-Chief's residents to gather at Tai Ching City in 3 days. After making the announcement, Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. Great Ancestor Qianhua, I plan to make a move on the Tian Nan dynasty. After gathering the people, we will set off. Night Sorrow said to Yi Qianhua, who was waiting in the city in the sky. Night Sorrow, the Tian Nan dynasty has moved to the Yuan spirit world. With the protection of the Yuan spirit sovereign, it will be difficult for us to take revenge. Yi Tian said. Don't worry. Uncle Summer, if the Yuan spirit sovereign interferes with our 9 Domains World's revenge, we can only ask you to take action. Night Sorrow said to Summer City. No problem. Kill whoever gets in the way. Summer City nodded. Grandfather, Night Moon's people should also gather and prepare for war. This is the time for the Yi clan to take revenge. Night Sorrow said to Yi Linghuan. After making all the arrangements, Night Sorrow thought for a while and decided to deal with the evil spirit king and Sungjiang first. Once these 2 scourges were dealt with, the 9 Domains World would be completely stable. Night Sorrow's clone in the Sky Ceiling Great Hall had already confirmed the evil spirit king's cultivation. It was a 7-star king. Night Sorrow's clone and Ice Qilin rushed over. With the help of the clone in the Sky Ceiling Great Hall, they could fight. Ice Qilin had the strength to fight above his level. Night Sorrow could use the array to trap Sungjiang first. Then, the 2 clones and Ice Qilin would kill the evil spirit king first. After arriving at the Sky Ceiling Great Hall, Night Sorrow controlled the empty spirit pearl to rise from the bottom of the Sky Ceiling Great Hall. Then, the 2 clones and Ice Qilin rushed into the empty spirit pearl. The space inside the empty spirit pearl was not big. It only had a radius of a few dozen miles. The moment Night Sorrow entered, the battle began. Night Sorrow first threw out the array disc of the Sky Ceiling Illusory Killing Formation to trap Sungjiang. Then, the 2 clones used the Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash and attacked the Evil Spirit King, who was a 7-star king. 2 faint purple halos wrapped around the Evil Spirit King. Then, the 2 halos attacked the Evil Spirit King. At this moment, the 2 halos carried a mysterious aura. It was the Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash, which was led by the supreme attribute infused with time and space energy, rules, and will. The Evil Spirit King's expression changed drastically. He roared and waved the long sword in his hand to block Night Sorrow's 2 halos. However, this was only the Evil Spirit King's thought. Night Sorrow was now determined to kill. How could he let the Evil Spirit King block his killing moves so easily? When the Evil Spirit King blocked Night Sorrow's Sky Ceiling Great Hall clone's attack, the sky's sealing Great Hall clone used the vibration force to shake the evil Spirit King's longsword away. Night Sorrow's sky splitter pierced into the evil Spirit King's chest. Then, the energy vibration sent the evil Spirit King flying. With one move, the evil Spirit King was severely injured. However, this was not the end. Ice Cheelan's body flashed, and his horns slammed into the evil Spirit King's back, sending the evil Spirit King flying. Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash. Night Sorrow's two clones once again used the Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash. At the same time, two crescent blades of the Soul Destruction Slash appeared and slashed toward the evil Spirit King's Spirit Sea. Night Sorrow was now at the peak of a 4-star king. He was infinitely close to becoming a 5-star king. However, there was still a gap of more than 2 levels between him and the evil Spirit King. Therefore, what he had to do now was to attack with thunderous means and not give the evil Spirit King a chance to counterattack. He had to catch the evil Spirit King off guard and kill him directly. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome to enter a stalemate. After all, his cultivation was still not enough. The evil Spirit King could not withstand the two clones' attacks at the same time. Moreover, he was already injured. After blocking Night Sorrow's attack, his body was once again pierced by Night Sorrow's sky splitter, and a large amount of energy was drained. Square root 0 VF at this time, Night Sorrow's Soul Destruction Slash also arrived. The two Soul Destruction Slashes arrived in front of the evil Spirit King's head. However, Night Sorrow's crescent blades did not cut into the evil Spirit King's Spirit Sea as he wished. They were blocked by the evil Spirit King's soul power defense. The evil Spirit King's body was not strong, but his soul power was strong. Chapter 1273. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. To read this book, please go to with a crunch. The evil Spirit King's lower body fell off. The upper body was directly crushed by the Ice Cheelan and eaten. Night Sorrow was stunned. Although the evil Spirit King had been injured by the two of them, the Ice Cheelan's attack was extremely powerful. When it opened its mouth to swallow, a white vortex appeared in its mouth. At that time, the space in its body was frozen. The remaining Sangjiang, who was controlled by the array disc, naturally had no ability to resist. The gap between him and the evil Spirit King was still very big. He was directly killed by Night Sorrow's two doppelgangers. When the evil Spirit King and Sangjiang died, the 9 regions world began to shake. Everyone in the 9 regions world could feel that the 9 regions world was devouring the evil spirits to strengthen itself. With the death of the evil Spirit King and Sangjiang, the 9 regions world's tribulation passed. After devouring and absorbing the evil spirit world, it became a high-level world. After exiting the empty spirit pearl, Night Sorrow knew that the pearl's effect was gone. In the future, it would only be a spatial treasure that could store some things. However, it was still very impressive. After all, the space was very big. Night Sorrow relaxed a little. After the 9 regions world merged with the evil spirit world, it would become a high-level world. It was on the same level as the heaven mystic world, the elemental spirit world, and the 9 heavens world. Looking at the Ice Cheelan, Night Sorrow felt that he had to hurry up and solve some problems. The Ice Dragon had said that as long as the high-level king of the Ice Dragon realm left the Ice Dragon realm, he would have to endure the wind and fire tribulations. Currently, the Ice Cheelan was a 4-star king. He was still some distance away from this limit, which was the curse. Then, Night Sorrow took a look at the clear sky city that was under construction and left. There was no need for him to worry about the city's construction. It's much more stable than the average website. It's also updated faster. It's all text and no advertisements. After leaving the clear sky city, Night Sorrow went to the city in the sky. At this time, he could feel the changes in the 9 regions world. The 9 regions world source was also strengthening. Although the evil spirit world was a threat to the 9 regions world, it was also a supplement. Seeing that Night Sorrow had returned, Sikong Chuyu made a pot of tea. "Where have you been?" Clear Sky City has completely resolved the tribulation of the 9-domain world. Now, the 9-domain world is moving toward a high-level world. It won't be long before it becomes a high-level world. At that time, the place where the will of heaven and earth manifests will also appear, Night Sorrow said. You killed the evil Spirit King and Azure River? Red Coat, who was also in the hall, asked. I've killed them all, so this tribulation no longer exists. Night Sorrow nodded. After solving this problem, he felt much more at ease. That's good. The 9 domains world is safe and there are no threats. No matter what you do outside, you'll have a warm home. Yang Lei said. As for the next tribulation, I don't know how long it'll take. As long as we work hard in our cultivation, it shouldn't be too much of an issue for us to get through the next tribulation. Night Sorrow said. Everyone in the hall nodded. Night Sorrow was the backbone of the 9-domain world. If Night Sorrow said that it would be fine, then it would be fine. For the next 2 days, Night Sorrow accompanied his family. His son and daughter had already run out. They were also growing through experience. However, the Sikong Chuyu had already sent a message to the 2 of them to return. Night Sorrow did not care much about his children. There would not be any problems in the profound sky world. No one would kill them for no reason. Even if they were captured, he could handle it. 2 days later, the people of the 9-domain world gathered at the Tai Ching domain. The god-slaying team had all returned. At this time, there was also good news. Zhu Jiuyun had entered the king's realm and his original body was rushing back. Very good. We'll set off tomorrow. Night Sorrow was very happy because the 9-domain world had once again produced a king. This was a good sign. After the team rested for a day, Night Sorrow led the team and began to teleport. The team led by Night Sorrow mainly consisted of the god-slaying team and the leaders of the 9-domain world. The 9-domain world already had many saint kings. The changes in the 9-domain world had brought many opportunities to many people. The higher-ups of the Night Moon Empire also followed. This was Night Moon's battle for revenge, a battle for revenge that no one could stop. Through the teleportation array in the profound sky world, Night Sorrow led the team to the Yuan spirit world. Xuanji, arrange for someone to lead the way. Night Sorrow said to Jun Xuanji. He had arranged for Jun Xuanji to be the scout a few days ago. They could not have a war, but in the end, they did not even know the way. This is the Yuan spirit world. Are you going to have a world war? Just as Yi Shang finished speaking, Monarch Primordial Spirit appeared. He had a clone guarding the teleportation array. World war. I don't have such thoughts. The Tiannan Empire and our 7 Night City are mortal enemies. I'm only here to find the Tiannan Empire, Night Sorrow said. This is the Yuan spirit world. You're not giving me face by doing this. The Yuan spirit world's realm lord did not look too good. Sovereign Yuan spirit knows that the Tiannan Empire is our 7 Night City's mortal enemy, but still wants to take them in. You're not giving us face either, right? Jun Xuanji said. What force are you from? You don't even have a high-level monarch. Do you need me to give you face? This is the Lord of the Qing Emperor Empire. Your Qing Emperor Empire protects the 9 Sky World Group, but there's no need to interfere with our internal affairs. Sovereign Yuan Spirit looked at Summer City and said. Haha. It seems that you're too stupid to understand the situation. You just said that we're not giving you face. Now, let me tell you, you don't have any face in our Highness' eyes. The Qing Emperor Empire protects the 9 Sky World Group. That's the overall situation of the Qing Emperor Empire. Now, revenge is our Highness' own business. Your Highness? Don't you understand this word? Summer City snorted coldly. 3. What do you mean? Isn't Night Sorrow the Highness of the Night Moon Empire? Sovereign Yuan Spirit's expression turned ugly because Summer City did not give him face. His Highness Night Sorrow is the 4th Highness of the Qing Emperor Empire. I'm just a guard and a subordinate. You should have understood the situation last time. Are you stupid? Get lost. Summer City reached for the saber at his waist. If Sovereign Yuan Spirit did not let him go, he would take it. Sovereign Yuan Spirit, you looked down on us just now. I really don't mind because I don't like you either. Now get out of the way. Night Sorrow said coldly. He was very disgusted with Sovereign Yuan Spirit's behavior today. His words did not give Seven Night City any face. Now, Night Sorrow naturally did not give him face. Sovereign Yuan Spirit moved to the side and made way. He knew that Summer City killed the Tsangyan Sovereign and severely injured the Moon Sovereign. He was a sovereign, but he was not at the same level as Summer City. Moreover, Fei Xiu behind him was also a sovereign. At least you know what's good for you. His Highness only needs an idea to destroy your Yuan Spirit world. Be a smart person. His Highness doesn't care about this. Otherwise, you'll be dead. Because of what you said, even I want to kill you. Don't be upset. I've killed too many monarchs like you, said Fei Xiu. Chapter 1274. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. Lord Yuan Ling's face turned red and white. Your Highness. He misunderstood the two words, which led to his face being shattered. He was powerless to stop it. If he did, he would die. Lord Yuan Ling was very clear about this. He understood everything from Summer City's words. Night Moon Dynasty's highness was nothing to Lord Yuan Ling, but the Qing Emperor Dynasty's highness was different. Yuan Ling world, even Jiao Shao world group, couldn't stop the footsteps of the Qing Emperor Dynasty's highness. If his face fell, so be it. He couldn't pick it up. Night Sorrow directly teleported to the square of Tiannan Mountain, the new territory of Tiannan Dynasty. Fei Xiu, take the Qing Emperor guards and surround this place. Kill whoever runs. Night Sorrow said to Fei Xiu. Uncle Xia, help me look out. Don't let anyone make trouble. Night Sorrow said. At this time, Shang Tianfeng, Yuan Xinba, and Gong Yang Lai appeared. You're not done yet. You're still evil? Shang Tianfeng glared at Night Sorrow. I'm still haunting you? It's not that I'm evil, but the two ancestors of the Yi clan can't close their eyes in peace. You should have thought about what you did today. Night Sorrow pointed at Shang Tianfeng. Someone, inform Lord Yuan Ling. Shang Tianfeng glanced at Summer City and said. You're overthinking it. I won't ask anyone to kill you today, and you shouldn't ask anyone to intervene in this war either. After what you've done, today's war is predestined, Yi Shan said. Ice Qilin, do you see that? Kill him. Night Sorrow pointed at Yuan Xinba to Ice Qilin. Commander, leave him to me. Zhu Jiuyun looked at Gong Yang Lai and said. Okay, the rest of you, kill anyone who moves. Great Ancestor Qianhua, I'm from the Yi clan. There's no difference between me and you. Yi Shan looked at Yi Qianhua and said, I like this kind of website the most. I must give a good review. Shang Tianfeng, can you still recognize me? I am Yi Qianhua. Back then, I was also called Yi Qianhua. Yi Qianhua looked at Shang Tianfeng after taking a few steps forward. Qianhua. Are you that child from back then? Shang Tianfeng took a few steps back. That's right, I used to call you uncle, but you put a knife on my neck. If you had killed me, I wouldn't have hated you so much. If you had killed my mother, then so be it. But you forced my mother to her death. My mother, who made me feel warm and at ease. You forced my father to his death. My father, who could cover everything for me, was like the sky. Yi Qianhua's words were very heavy and also made people's hearts ache. So what? The winner is the king, while the loser is a thief. Your Yi clan deserves to die. Shang Tianfeng roared. Go to hell. Night Sorrow's body flashed, and Sky Splitter blasted towards Shang Tianfeng. He was extremely angry and didn't want to listen to Shang Tianfeng's nonsense. Shang Tianfeng stabbed his sword towards Night Sorrow's sky splitter. The long sword was filled with a fiery red sword light. He was a 5-star king with the fire attribute and will of fire, so he didn't care about Night Sorrow, who was a 4-star king. Following a muffled sound, Shang Tianfeng was pushed back by Night Sorrow. After being melted by the void energy, Shang Tianfeng thought that he could block Night Sorrow's sword. He only had half of his energy left, so of course he was pushed back. Facing an opponent whose cultivation was much higher than his, Night Sorrow's void energy was slightly weaker. But facing Shang Tianfeng, who was only 1 level higher than him, the power of the supreme energy was fully displayed. It was a complete suppression. After pushing Shang Tianfeng back, Night Sorrow used his space-time movement technique. His body left behind an afterimage as he caught up to Shang Tianfeng and attacked again. Shang Tianfeng was a 5-star king with normal attributes. He couldn't be compared to Night Sorrow. Even a 7-star king's evil spirit king was killed by Night Sorrow, let alone Shang Tianfeng. After fighting for a while, Shang Tianfeng's body was riddled with holes by Night Sorrow's sky splitter. Night Sorrow wanted him alive, otherwise, he would have used his ultimate move to kill him. After breaking Shang Tianfeng's arms and legs, Night Sorrow grabbed his body and threw it to Yi Qianhua's side. Then, he rushed towards Gong Yanglai. Because Sky South Dynasty's king only had Gong Yanglai left, Yuan Qinba had already been eaten by the Ice Qilin. This was the tyrannical power of the mystic Ice Qilin. Back then, you ambushed me and wanted to kill me. Today, I'll take your life. Night Sorrow swung Sky Splitter and directly used the Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash. He didn't use his ultimate move against Shang Tianfeng because Night Sorrow planned to capture him and hand him over to Yi Qianhua. This Gong Yanglai was worthless and there was no need to keep him alive. One move. The 2-star king Gong Yanglai couldn't withstand Night Sorrow's move and his head was pierced through by Sky Splitter. Sky South Dynasty slaughtered my Yi family and my 9-domain world. Today, I will settle the score. Those who kill will be killed. Night Sorrow swung Sky Splitter and roared. Wait. Can you let me say a few words? At this moment, the white-haired Shang-Ci appeared. I don't care who you are. No one can stop my Yi family from taking revenge. Using despicable means to force my Yi family's ancestor to death. For such a despicable scum, I will kill whoever pleads for him. At this moment, Night Sorrow's body was filled with heavy killing intent. I am not pleading for him. Shang-Ci said. Father, save me. Seeing Shang-Ci, Shang Tianfeng's eyes lit up as he saw hope. What father, monarch? I am just a person who can't even be a good father. Shang-Ci shook her head. Father, save me. Shang-Ci rolled her body and tried to get closer to Shang-Ci. Back then, when you put your blade on little Qianhua, did your sister and brother-in-law beg you? Did your sister's only son, Qianhua, beg you? When you brandished your blade, there was no family in your heart, no sister, and no father. You are Night Sorrow, right? I came today because I don't want to see too many people die. Sky South Dynasty was founded by me, so please let some innocent people go. Shang-Ci looked at Shang Tianfeng and shook her head. Then, she cupped her hands towards Night Sorrow. Good. Today, I will only find the culprits. Which family, which people attacked my Yi family? Kill. Who went to the 9-domain world? Kill. Night Sorrow nodded towards Shang-Ci and gave the order. He had a good impression of Shang-Ci because Shang-Ci and Shang Tianfeng were two completely different people. Grandfather. Please seek justice for father and mother. Yi Qianhua took 2 steps forward and knelt in front of Shang-Ci. He knew Shang-Ci. The soonest 8Q on P8Q, Qianhua. Is it Qianhua? Shang-Ci's voice was trembling. Yes, after countless reincarnations, I only ask for justice for my parents. Yi Qianhua said. Get up. There will naturally be an explanation. Shang-Si helped Yi Qianhua up. Yi Qianhua nodded. He knew that the tragedy happened because Shang-Si was not around. Shang-Si was a very kind old man. Chapter 1275. A genius remembers love in 1 second? I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. Then, Shang-Si turned around and looked at Night Sorrow. Forgiveness is virtue. Sparing the innocent is virtue. Without waiting for Night Sorrow's reply, Shang-Si wrapped Yi Qianhua in her energy and left. Xuanji, capture the key people for interrogation. Kill those who attacked the Yi clan and those who went to the 9 regions world. As for the rest, let them return to the Tianxian world. Jillian will help, Night Sorrow said. You're really a god. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Zhu Jillian stepped forward and slashed Shang Tianfeng's head and spiritual ocean. Zhu Jillian understood the situation. It was not appropriate for Night Sorrow to kill Shang Tianfeng directly because Shang Tianfeng was related to the Yi clan by blood. Therefore, she came. Xuanji, Jillian, you guys handle this matter. Do as I said. After giving his instructions, Night Sorrow left with his family. The battle did not happen because the two sides were not equal in strength. The 3 kings of the Tiannan Empire were either dead or crippled in a short time. They did not have the power to fight back and the others did not have the ability to resist. Night Sorrow brought his family, Summer City, and the Qing Emperor's guards to Yuanling City and saw Lord Yuanling again. Night Sorrow did not say anything and walked directly to the teleportation array. He had nothing to say to Lord Yuanling and did not want to say anything. However, Summer City had something to say. I don't know if you're called Lord Yuanling or something else. Be careful in the future. If you reach out the wrong hand one day, it could be fatal. Don't worry, Lord. I understand. Lord Yuanling nodded. Then, Summer City, Night Sorrow, and the others went to the teleportation array and returned to Chia City. There's everything. It's much more stable than the average website and updates faster. It's all text with no advertisements. I wonder why the old emperor of the Tiannan Empire called great ancestor Qianhua, Yi Tian said. His daughter died tragically, so that old man must feel guilty, so he has a lot to say to grand ancestor Qianhua. Yu Qing said. Now that things have come to an end, let's focus on our own development, Night Sorrow said. He had been in the Ice Dragon realm for 24 years, which meant that he had accumulated 24 years. After returning, Night Sorrow had resolved 2 major issues in his heart. The calamity of the 9-domain world and the enmity of the 9-domain world were 2 things that had been bothering Night Sorrow. The South Sky Dynasty was the enmity of the Yi clan, and the evil spirit world was the obstacle to the development of the 9-domain world. Now that both had been resolved, Night Sorrow felt much more relaxed. Not long after Night Sorrow returned, Yi Qianhua returned as well. Grand Ancestor Qianhua, is there any problem? Night Sorrow asked. There's no problem. Grandfather just feels guilty about what happened back then. He hasn't dealt with it for so many years because of my parents' souls. By the way, Patriarch, can I invite my grandfather to the 9-domain world as a guest? Yi Qianhua asked. Don't call me Patriarch. With the elders around, it's not up to me to make decisions in the Night Moon Empire. There's no problem with being a guest, Night Sorrow said. If it was in the past, it would definitely be impossible for a monarch to come to the 9-domain world, because it would be an unstable factor if they didn't understand it. But now, Night Sorrow wasn't afraid. The Summer City could solve the threat of a monarch, so could Xiao and the others. The position of Patriarch was decided after everyone's discussion. Don't reject it, Yi Tian said with a smile. He was also in a good mood. The Shang family of the Tiannan Empire had imprisoned him for more than 100 years. Then I'll take grandfather to the 9-domain world for a walk. Yi Qianhua nodded. After resolving the hatred of his parents, he knew that his parents weren't completely dead. He saw his grandfather, who had hugged him when he was young. He still felt very emotional. Half a month later, the matter of the Tiannan Empire was completely resolved. The culprits and executors of the evil deeds were all found out by Jun Xuanji and executed directly. Resist? Ice Qilin was still there, and Night Sorrow didn't bring him back. Whoever resisted would be chewed up immediately. As for the innocent people, they were also brought back. The Yuanling world wanted to develop its strength, but it couldn't rely on the people of the Tiannan world. Xuanji, your original body will work hard to cultivate. Send your doppelganger back to the 9-story tower and gather the information. If it's useful, send it to me. Fei Xiu, your Qing Emperor's guard should also go back. It's safe here now, Night Sorrow said. Fei Xiu thought for a moment and nodded. He knew that with Summer City and the teleportation formation of the 9 Sky World Group were closed, Night Sorrow was indeed safe. The following days were very quiet. Night Sorrow taught Ice Qilin the true scripture of heavenly mandate and told Ice Qilin the importance of this matter. Update, new / fastest, go. After that, Night Sorrow studied the formation. He had the remains of the Ice Dragon and the Ice Qilin Tiger King. They were all treasures that could be used to set up a formation. Yishang was researching the Ice Seal Illusory Killing Formation that evolved from the Sealing Sky Illusory Killing Formation. He planned to use the Monarch rank Ice Dragon skeleton, which he had obtained from the spatial turbulence, as the core of the formation. He planned to set up the formation and place it in 7 Night City. As for the 9 Domains world, Night Sorrow felt that it would be enough to set up the Dragon Tiger formation in Haotian City. The Ice Dragon and the Ice Qilin Tiger King, who were at the level of Titan, could work together in the city in the sky and Haotian City. In other words, the city in the sky was also absolutely safe. This was the dominance of the complete skeleton of a Titan-level Ice Dragon. Night Sorrow dismantled the broken Ice Dragon's remains into materials because he needed the dragon's blood. Currently, Night Sorrow's body was in the undead realm, and he advanced with the time attribute. He was currently at the level of a 3-star king. In other words, Night Sorrow could fight with a 3-star king using only the energy of his body. This was a normal deduction. However, now that Night Sorrow had comprehended the will of time and space, the energy of space could also enter his body, and his body's defensive ability was even stronger. Night Sorrow felt that when his original body successfully cultivated the true scripture of heavenly mandate and obtained the leakless real body, he would make great progress. Currently, Night Sorrow's original body was using the 9 transformation elixir made from the cinnabar fruit to improve his body's strength and cultivation. Therefore, Night Sorrow did not give his original body the Ice Dragon's blood essence. Night Sorrow studied the matrix while accompanying his parents, wife, and son. Today, after he finished studying, Night Sorrow sighed. Why are you sighing? Yang Lei came to Night Sorrow's side and massaged Night Sorrow's shoulders. To set up a frozen illusory matrix with the Ice Dragon's remains as the core requires 200,000 Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow said as he closed the matrix he had drawn. 200,000? That's so scary. Then we can't afford to set it up. Yang Lei said. I can afford it, but it's a little painful. It's not easy for me to accumulate this much wealth. Night Sorrow said as he grabbed Yang Lei's hand that was massaging his shoulders. Do you have 200,000 Saint Spirit stones? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes, I have a few 100,000 Saint Spirit stones at the moment. What I plan to set up now is the defensive matrix of Chia City. In the future, when I set up the matrix in Haotian City, the cost will be even more shocking. According to my master, it will cost at least 800,000 Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1276. A genius remembers love in 1 second? I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. Times have changed. The higher the level of contact, the corresponding changes will follow. A few hundred Holy Spirit stones can only set up an ordinary small array. What I want to set up now is a large array that can completely defend the city. In the future, the array set up in Haotian City will be one that can withstand the attacks of powerful figures. It won't be that easy, Night Sorrow said. That's true. The higher the level of contact, the more the world and the perspective will be different. Night Sorrow, ninth senior sister can't help you now, Yang Lei said. In those years, I remember that I was still young. My dream was to protect the people around me. I wanted to make sure that the Medicine Valley and senior sister would never have to worry. The dream I had when I was young will never fade. Ninth senior sister, do you understand? Night Sorrow grabbed Yang Lei and said. Yes. When will you come back with your original body? I want a child too. Sister Shueshi actually wants to give birth to a child for you, Yang Lei said in a low voice. It's not easy to have Lord Yu and Qingyan. With the strength of my body now, it's even harder to have a child. We'll talk about this when my original body comes out. I'll talk to Lord Yu and Qingyan. You're no different from their biological mother, Night Sorrow said. You're thinking too much. Lord Yu and Qingyan respect me and Shueshi very much. Those messy things don't exist in our family, Yang Lei shook her head and said. Then I understand. You're making me worry again, Night Sorrow said as he patted Yang Lei's arm. I'm just thinking that it's better to have a child. It's the proof of our relationship. Yang Lei shook her head. We don't need any proof of our relationship. It's enough that you're always by my side. Don't forget to cultivate hard. Only when you reach the King realm can you become immortal. Read the whole thing, Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei. Okay, I know. I'm cultivating very well now. After a while, I'll be able to reach the Saint King realm. The Purple Cloud Sovereign gave me a letter. It won't be a problem for me to reach the Saint King realm, Yang Lei said. How are 6th senior sister and Chuyu? Night Sorrow asked. It's not a problem. Chuyu is being guided by Aunt Fei in her cultivation. 6th senior sister is even more amazing. She is the spatial lord and has a deeper understanding of the wind attribute. Her foundation is even more overbearing than Chuyu's and mine, Yang Lei said with a smile. It's been hard on you. When a woman gets married, how can a man not be at home all the time? I have no choice. The 9 domains world must have its own sky, and it must keep up with the pace. Wait for me. When it's about time, I'll come back to accompany you, said Yishan. It's not enough. I have the longevity limitless pill. I'll think of a way. No matter what, I'll push you to the King realm. If you don't exist in my world, what's the point of me living? Even if it's the unhindered world, who will it be for? Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei seriously. Yes. 13 unhindered world. We must watch. Aoi and Sikong Chuyu also came to the hall. Night Sorrow, come back quickly. Others may think we're beautiful, but without a man by our side, do we still look like women? Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. I admit that I was wrong. I'll pour some tea now. Night Sorrow stood up to make tea. 13 is still the same 13. He hasn't changed because of his strength or status, Aoi said. Of course. I'll always be 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister's 13th junior brother, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's words made Sikong Chuyu and the others feel at ease. They trusted Night Sorrow, but they were also worried about the distance between them after not being together for a long time. However, Night Sorrow's words dispelled their worries. Night Sorrow studied the frozen illusionary killing array every day. He didn't want to ask others to set up the array. If he could do it, then he would do it himself. Jun Xuanji also frequently sent over information about the Qing Emperor's dynasty. All the giants of the major factions had left, but the news of the heavenly artifact spread more and more. It was mainly because Night Sorrow didn't swear to deny it at Sandalwood's wedding. The heavenly oath had great restrictions on cultivators. King had the will of heaven and earth, so he could resist the attacks of the will of lower worlds. However, the heavenly oath of higher worlds and supreme worlds had great restrictions. Even the giants couldn't resist it. After all, they weren't level 9. If they were level 9, they might be able to resist the attacks of the will of higher worlds. Original 2 asterisk version, F. Knight Sorrow didn't swear to the heavenly oath, and the Qing Emperor's attitude showed that the heavenly artifact was most likely in Knight Sorrow's hands. Several factions joined forces to force him to take it. However, because they didn't choose a good name, Knight Sorrow destroyed it with a body of merit. No one could go back on their words. However, after Sandalwood's wedding, a group of people began to use all kinds of methods. Their goal was the heavenly artifact. However, the Qing Emperor's dynasty also showed a very strong attitude. Once a spy of unknown origin was discovered in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, they would capture and kill him. Kill the wrong person? At this time, the Qing Emperor's dynasty's waters were very deep. Anyone who mysteriously entered would have to be prepared to be killed. The Qing Emperor's dynasty also made a strong announcement. The Qing Emperor's dynasty forbade giants from entering without saying anything. Whoever dared to enter without permission would die. There were also people who had designs on the 9 regions world. At this time, everyone discovered that they couldn't enter the 9 regions world group because the world teleportation formation had been closed. The spies who had already infiltrated the Qing Emperor's dynasty were also unable to find Knight Sorrow's whereabouts. The Qing Emperor's guards guarded the 9 regions building tightly, and there was also an army stationed at the 9 regions building. Occasionally, a few large groups would come out to patrol the surroundings. This made many people unable to make a move because the Qing Emperor's dynasty was too powerful. No one directly jumped out, so they were all watching. However, no one gave up because the heavenly Tao divine artifact was too important. It was just that it wasn't the time to use it because no one had really seen the heavenly Tao divine artifact. It was not worth it to fight to the death without seeing the heavenly Tao divine artifact. Datura returned to the dark abyss. She was now fully focused on studying the heavenly mandate scripture. Although she had cultivated it successfully, the timing was still a problem. The Qing Emperor was the same. Both his original body and avatar were cultivating. After his original body cultivated, the Qing Emperor's combat strength increased a lot. If his avatar also cultivated, the effect would be even stronger. Knight Sorrow's original body was also cultivating the heavenly mandate scripture. He felt that the effect of his original body's cultivation was much better than his avatar's. This was a problem of the foundation. The heavenly mandate scripture could be said to be a cultivation method. It could strengthen the body, mainly because it could seal the energy and not let it leak. The body of Knight Sorrow's original body was much stronger than that of his avatar. The effect of cultivating the heavenly mandate scripture was even stronger. Knight Sorrow felt that the effect of cultivating the heavenly mandate scripture was better than that of the Qing Emperor and Datura. This was because he was a cultivator of the body. The energy of his body was similar to his cultivation. Chapter 1277. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Read the full text. Knight Sorrow's original body was currently comprehending the will of heaven and earth while cultivating the heavenly mandate scripture. After diligent cultivation, Knight Sorrow's realm and cultivation had reached the same level. Now, he could continue to comprehend the realm and cultivate the heavenly mandate scripture. Knight Sorrow's doppelganger stayed in the city in the sky and practiced the ice-sealing illusionary matrix every day. His doppelganger in the heaven-sealing hall also followed along and deduced the matrix to maximize its power. After 3 months of deduction, Knight Sorrow's ice-sealing illusionary matrix was perfect and could be set up. After taking 300,000 Saint Spirit stones, Knight Sorrow arrived at 7 Night City. At this time, 7 Night City was still under construction. It was connected to all parts of the Tianxian world and was already a relatively prosperous city. Outsiders came in to live and do business. Taishu Yen also gave Yishan some of the resources they had collected. Knight Sorrow said to Taishu Yen, "No need. The output of 7 Night City can be used for the construction of 7 Night City." I'm going to set up the matrix. Don't panic if there's any movement. Taishu Yen nodded. Knight Sorrow then went to the high mountain that the city lord's office of Seven Nights City was leaning on. With a wave of his arm, energy exploded and repaired the top of the mountain. Knight Sorrow took out the ice dragon's body that he had obtained from the extreme cold current. Then, his soul power entered the ice dragon divine pearl and began to refine it. After half a day, Knight Sorrow finished refining the ice dragon divine pearl. After calming down, Knight Sorrow used his soul power to guide the energy in the ice dragon's body into the Saint Spirit stones. Then, he began to set up the matrix. Knight Sorrow couldn't set up a high-level heavenly master matrix in the past. After studying the heavenly mandate scripture for more than 20 years in the ice dragon realm, his two doppelganger continued to deduce. This allowed Knight Sorrow's matrix cultivation to reach the level of high-level heavenly master. Fei Xiu stood guard beside the ice dragon skeleton to prevent others from coming to destroy it. Summer City protected Knight Sorrow and watched as Knight Sorrow set up the formation. Shang-Xi and Yi Qianhua were also in Seven Nights City. They had just returned from the ancestral ground of the Yi tribe and saw Knight Sorrow setting up the formation. Amazing! In the future, this will be the #1 city in the profound sky world, a city that even sovereigns cannot break through. Shang-Xi said emotionally. $2, Grandpa, are you saying that this is a big city that not even a monarch can break through? Yi Qianhua asked in surprise. That's right. It is recorded in the ancient records that the bones of the 8th rank ice element beasts do not disperse after they die. If they are used as the core of the formation, no one of the same cultivation level will be able to break it. That is the bones of a monarch-level ice dragon. Once the formation is completed, who among the monarchs can break it? Shang-Xi said. But I've never heard of such a great array. Yi Qianhua still didn't quite understand. There were few ice element beasts in the boundless world, but it wasn't to say that there were none. However, he and Yi Tian had never seen or heard of such a great array in the past few days. Qianhua, you don't understand. This is a natural death and the loss of life force. How can a king-level ice element beast die so easily? When it dies in battle, its body is damaged and its energy is lost. Therefore, such a formation is very rare. Your Yi tribe has produced such an amazing person. It's really amazing. Shang-Xi said. Yes, it was Knight Sorrow who changed the 9 regions world and the Yi tribe by himself. It must have been hard on him. Yi Qianhua said. As for you, you can't live in the past. The things that should be ended have been ended. This time, you have successfully reincarnated and want to start a new life. You need to marry and have children. Shang-Xi said. Grandpa, Qianhua no longer has a knot in my heart. My parents still exist in this world. This is enough for me. Yi Qianhua nodded. In fact, it wasn't only Yi Qianhua who had a knot in his heart. Shang-Xi also saw that her daughter's child still existed in this world. This great array is really not something that an ordinary person can set up. It's amazing. At such a young age, his cultivation level is high, his combat strength is amazing, and he has such deep attainments in formations. It's rare. Shang-Xi had a high opinion of Knight Sorrow. Actually, he's also a heavenly master-level alchemist and blacksmith, but he doesn't like to be flamboyant. Yi Qianhua said with a smile. Your descendant can also be considered Grandpa's descendant. Very good. Shang-Xi said with a smile. It took Knight Sorrow 4 months to set up the frozen illusionary killing array. Seven Nights City was completely enveloped by the frozen illusionary killing array. The moment the array was set up and started to operate, everyone in Seven Nights City heard the sound of a dragon's roar. There was also a dragon's shadow hovering in the sky. On the peak behind the city lord mansion, the ice dragon skeleton seemed to be alive as it circulated with light. From today onwards, you are the guardian of Seven Nights City. Knight Sorrow, who was standing in front of the city lord mansion, looked at the ice dragon skeleton and said, Commander, what's the state of the great array now? Will it be destroyed by someone who dug out the spirit stones? Taishu Yen asked. No, the 200,000 Saint Spirit stones are now in the form of energy. If anyone has any ideas about these resources, they will be directly killed by the Great Array's energy. Night Sorrow said with a smile. In other words, the only drawback is that it will be destroyed from the inside. Yi Qianhua said. How should I put it? It's not that easy. This Great Array has already recognized me as its master, so I can control its attacks. If there is a war, after sealing the teleportation array, no one will be able to break in. In addition, the frozen illusionary killing array restricts the effects of other formations outside of the teleportation array's area. In other words, other than the frozen illusionary killing array and the formations that I allow to operate, no other formations can exist in Seven Night City. It can be said that Seven Night City is already impregnable. Even if a monarch comes, he will be killed. Night Sorrow said. Your Highness, is it really that powerful? Fei Xiu asked. Night Sorrow stretched out his arm, and a white energy ribbon appeared on the shining ice dragon's body and flew in the air. Captain Fei Xiu, what do you think of this energy? Night Sorrow waved his finger, and the energy ribbon returned to the ice dragon's body. It's so strong. I can't handle it. Fei Xiu said. That's right. Martial Uncle Taishu, you have my messaging crystal in your hand. If there is a battle, you can crush it and I will immediately come back to help. If not for a Heaven Master, I want to see who can break into my Seven Night City. After working hard for a few months and spending 200,000 Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow was very confident. Good, that's very dependable. Taishu Yen said. Very good. Shang-Xi and Yi Qianhua also came over and said. I've been a little busy recently. Night Sorrow didn't receive you as a guest. I'm very sorry. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Shang-Xi. It's fine. It's fine as long as you don't see me as an enemy. Shang-Xi said. I won't. The matters of the South Sky Dynasty have nothing to do with you. Night Sorrow is not a person who doesn't know right from wrong. Night Sorrow said. I'm all alone now. I plan to buy a courtyard in Seven Night City and live in Seven Night City in the future. Shang-Xi said. How can you say that you are inextricably linked to the Night Clan? You are a senior, an elder. Seven Night City welcomes you. Martial Uncle Taishu, please make the arrangements. Night Sorrow said to Taishu Yen. Chapter 1278. Genius remembers love in 1 second go/little. I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. Shang-Xi didn't refuse because there was no point in pushing back and forth. Night Sorrow, thank you, Yi Qianhua said. You don't have to be so polite. Elder is even the ancestor of the Yi clan. I won't be stingy with what I can do. Night Sorrow shook his head. In fact, the Night Moon dynasty of the 9 regions world was the descendant of Yi Qianhua. Yi Qianhua's mother, Heavenly Lady Shang, was the ancestor of the Yi clan, so naturally, Shang-Xi was too. Uncle Master, the back peak of the City Lord's office will be designated as a forbidden area in the future. The core of the matrix has a self-protection function. Anyone who gets close to the core of the matrix will be killed. Night Sorrow explained to Taishu Yen. Alright, this subordinate understands. Then can our Seven Night City develop with all our might? Taishu Yen opened her mouth to ask. I don't care about development. You discuss it with the people of the Commander-in-Chief's office, Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow left. Seven Night City. This is a hands-off boss, but there are too many things for him to worry about. Taishu Yen shook her head helplessly. Then what should we do? He has too many things to do, and his own cultivation can't be delayed, Yi Qianhua said with a smile. Back in the city in the sky, Night Sorrow rested in the lake for a day and continued to study the matrix in the city in the sky. Now, he was deducing the 9 serenities slaughtering God matrix. Night Sorrow planned to continue to improve his matrix cultivation. When the 9 regions world was formed, his matrix cultivation would be high enough to set up his own matrix. The matrix was the same, but the main thing was to understand the matrix theory. Night Sorrow studied the heavenly mandate scripture and improved his matrix cultivation. He could clearly distinguish the yin and yang of the matrix. If he could understand the 9 serenities slaughtering God matrix, he could set up the 9 serenities slaughtering God dragon tiger matrix. Night Sorrow's days were very peaceful, but the world of samsara was not. Some forces began to move and began to conflict with the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The reason was simple. Many forces wanted to put pressure on the Qing Emperor's dynasty. They had to dig out the heavenly axiom divine artifact from the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Qing Emperor had been in a bad temper recently. He directly gave the order to kill anyone who dared to stir up trouble. This made the conflict more and more intense. Several big forces began to send people to the eastern district of the world of samsara. After receiving this news, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating because this could be considered a disaster that he had brought upon himself. After stopping his cultivation, Night Sorrow took the 7 night cities interrealm transfer array back to the 9 Chong building and brought Summer City to the Azure Sky Pavilion. Xian Daozi came out and led Night Sorrow and Summer City inside. I knew you wouldn't be able to sit still after hearing the news. Qing Emperor was making tea. Master, I want to lead the army into battle, Night Sorrow said. You don't need to do this for now. Qing Emperor shook his head. Master, this is all my fault. Night Sorrow didn't want others to take the blame for him. It's not like that. Night Sorrow, you have a bad habit of shouldering everything by yourself. They are slapping me in the face now. Do you understand? It's still a small test stage now. It's not suitable for you. You can fight when you are needed. Go back and cultivate. Don't think too much. Qing Emperor said. Your Highness, the Qing Emperor's dynasty is not a pushover. If they want to fight, let's fight. Let's see what they can do to the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Xian Daozi said. Night Sorrow had no choice but to return to the 9 Chong building with Summer City. He was filled with anger because this world was too cruel. This was the law of the jungle. However, he wasn't strong enough yet. Your Highness, this kind of war is common in the supreme world. It's common to fight for hundreds of years before reaching the climax stage. Summer City could see Night Sorrow's impatience. I'm confused. These people have a robber's logic, Night Sorrow said as he slammed the table. That's right. It's a robber's logic, Summer City said. Your Highness, it should be a test stage now. If it's necessary, we can ask for another battle, Nu Lin, who had been listening to Night Sorrow and Summer City's conversation, said. You're saying that the battle won't be too intense now? Night Sorrow asked suspiciously. Of course. They want to suppress the Qing Emperor's dynasty. However, if they are the most active, the Qing Emperor's dynasty will catch them and beat them to death. Hence, everyone is more cautious, Summer City said. Night Sorrow heaved a sigh of relief and calmed down a little. Time. I still need time, Night Sorrow said. Summer City and Nu Lin didn't say anything. They knew that Night Sorrow was extremely talented. However, experts were all accumulated with talent, resources, and time. Night Sorrow had talent and resources, but he lacked time. Night Sorrow sighed and took out the formation map to study. The situation was still the same. He couldn't change it. A few days later, another piece of news spread. The Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's men fought with the Celestial Sect's men at the edge of the Eastern District and the Black Fiend Valley of the world of reincarnation. The battle became muddy again. The Qing Emperor's dynasty wasn't fighting alone. This made the other forces cautious. After all, the strength of the 3 top forces was no joke. The stalemate. Many forces fought at the edge of the Eastern District of the world of reincarnation. There were killings every day. This was a war of attrition. It was a way to make the other party compromise. Night Sorrow waited for his level to increase. His will of nothingness was already at 40% completion. He just needed one more step to become a 5-star king. By then, Night Sorrow wouldn't be afraid of any high-level king. This made Night Sorrow uneasy. He paced back and forth in the space where the 3 mixed wills spread out. Young man, it's taboo to be flustered. The voice of the world of reincarnation's origin sounded in Night Sorrow's mind. Thank you for your reminder. I'll calm myself down. Night Sorrow bowed to the void. However, 2 days had passed and Night Sorrow still felt that he couldn't do it. Young man, what's wrong? If you continue to be in this state, why don't you stop cultivating and go out for a walk to stabilize your state of mind? A white-haired old man in a black robe appeared in front of Night Sorrow. Thank you for asking. I need time. There are many things that I can't solve because I'm not strong enough. I'm very anxious. Night Sorrow sighed. Tell me about it. The old man said. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything and told him about it. Heavenly artifact. It seems like your body of merit is really blessed by the heavens. Alright, I can help you, but there must be a price. The old man looked at Night Sorrow and said. Please tell me. Night Sorrow bowed. Don't you have a treasure that accelerates time? That pagoda. Bring it in and I can let the will of heaven and earth enter it. However, the cultivation time has to be calculated according to the accelerated time. The old man in the world of reincarnation's origin said. Sure. Thank you, Senior, Yishang said. Chapter 1279. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. What's the reason? Night Sorrow asked. It's still too early to tell you. As long as you admit that you owe me a favor, you'll help me when I need help. Of course, I'm betting on your success. The old man looked at Night Sorrow and said. I don't dare to make any promises because the future is unknown, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. The origin of the world of reincarnation represented the will of the world of reincarnation. If he needed help, it was no small matter. You're right. The future is unknown. If you don't do anything, if you die, I'll treat it as doing a good deed for free. If you have the ability, then I'll take the right bet. The origin of the world of reincarnation looked at Night Sorrow and said. It's not against my conscience or morality. If I have the ability, I'm willing to help you, Night Sorrow said. Okay, go get the treasure yourself, the origin of the world of reincarnation said. I won't go out. I have too many enemies now. I'll find a way to send them here, Night Sorrow said. The origin of the world of reincarnation had made a decision. Night Sorrow decided to exchange time for a large amount of cultivation time in the world of reincarnation. Night Sorrow went to the reincarnation palace first. He found an official and asked about the exchange of time in the reincarnation palace. The official checked Night Sorrow's merit points. It was more than 2 million. However, the cultivation time in the reincarnation palace wasn't enough for the exchange. The current cultivation time in the reincarnation palace was only 100 years. The next batch hadn't arrived yet. Exchange it all, Night Sorrow said directly. 100 years. If he needed 3 times the time, he could only cultivate for 33 years. If the pagoda of time and space slowed down 20 times, it would only be about 1.5 years. Holding the cultivation token of the reincarnation palace, Night Sorrow returned to the 9 Chong building. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow took out the concentric crystal and went to Datura. Is there something urgent? Datura asked. I need a lot of time to practice in the Samsara Palace. Help me, Night Sorrow said. Okay, go back to 7 Night City and wait for me. Datura said. Night Sorrow then teleported back to 7 Night City and waited by the teleportation array. A moment later, Datura appeared. This is 500 years of cultivation time. However, you cannot stay inside forever. Your state of mind is very important. As for how to arrange it, you will have to figure it out, Datura said after handing Knight Sorrow a samsara order. Knight Sorrow then told Datura that Samsara Palace was willing to help him. He had nothing to hide from Datura. The Samsara Palace is the manifestation of the origin of the world of samsara. He is willing to help you. He even needs you to owe him a favor. What's going on? Is there a big change in the world of samsara? Does the origin of the supreme world have to be human? Datura was a little confused. As I said, I have the ability. As long as it doesn't violate my conscience and morals, I can help you. Knight Sorrow said. It's not a bad thing to help the origin of a world. You have such a cultivation opportunity now. Very good. You can use this time first. If it's not enough, I will find another way. Datura felt that this was a chance for Knight Sorrow to improve his strength quickly. It's enough. Even if it's 3 times the price, I have 600 years to reduce it by 3 times. I still have 200 years. If time is accelerated, I can cultivate for 10 years in real time. Knight Sorrow said. Mind. You have to pay attention to your mind. Also, give me the resources. I will send them to you. Your original body will stay in the area covered by the Samsara Palace. Don't come out. Datura said. Knight Sorrow returned to the 9 regions world and put away the spacetime pagoda. He prepared the elixirs, dragon blood, and other cultivation resources. He also brought 300,000 Holy Spirit stones and handed them to Datura. Okay, your 2 doppelgangers pay attention to their mind cultivation. I will return to the dark abyss after delivering the resources. There are still some things to take care of. If you have time, let's meet in 7 Night City. Datura took the resources and teleported away. After receiving the resources from Datura, Knight Sorrow's original body began to speed up his cultivation. Look at the chapters in the official version. Knight Sorrow's doppelganger stayed in 7 Night City for a while before returning to the 9 regions world. He told Summer City, Fei Xiu, and the others to find him in the 9 regions world if there was anything. Then, he returned to the 9 regions world. Since his original body was speeding up his cultivation, his doppelgangers and his original body's souls were connected. His doppelganger could relax and comprehend. After greeting his family, Knight Sorrow walked around the 9 regions world and looked around. Seeing that the 9 regions world was completely different from 100 years ago, Knight Sorrow felt very gratified. His hard work had paid off, and everything he had done was worth it. Knight Sorrow from the Profound Mysteries realm walked around, and so did Knight Sorrow from the Nether realm. The barrier between the worlds had changed, and the spatial barrier between the 9 regions world was gradually melting. In other words, the last few worlds would become one world. Knight Sorrow set up a tent at the entrance of the spatial tunnel between the Supreme River Dimension and the Nether realm and acted as a guard. The people coming and going didn't find it strange, and the soldiers on guard didn't find it strange either. After all, Knight Sorrow looked like a harmless youth without any cultivation. The soldiers guarding the spatial tunnel were all young people, and none of them recognized Knight Sorrow. However, they all had a good impression of Knight Sorrow, so they didn't chase him away. One day, a commander on duty came. When he saw Knight Sorrow, he felt that it was strange, so he went to Knight Sorrow's tent. Young people should have dreams. In this world, the strong are respected. We have to do our best to stabilize the 9 regions world. You should work hard. Although it's a bit late to start cultivating, it's not too late. I have dreams and ideals. There's a good saying, dreams never wither. I have dreams. Cultivation is also cultivation of the heart. You have to think clearly about what you want to do at all times. I'm cultivating the heart so that it won't be covered in dust at all times. You're a bit impatient, so it's not good for you to act so impatient. After saying that, Knight Sorrow continued brewing tea. You're right. My father and big brother also said the same thing. That's why they asked me to take up a position in the commander's residence to stabilize me. However, I feel that if I follow my big brother, I'll be able to achieve much faster. The commander looked at Night Sorrow and said, "The path that suits others doesn't necessarily suit you." Night Sorrow said, "You're like a wise man. Let me brew the tea." The commander began to brew tea. Night Sorrow smiled. This was the younger generation of the 9 regions world. Although they were a bit impatient, they were kind-hearted. Seeing the commander brew tea, Night Sorrow was stunned. Soldiers nowadays have such good taste. Do they all drink heart-cleansing tea? Oh. You recognize heart-cleansing tea? Heart-cleansing tea isn't easy to buy. My father said that I don't understand tea, and that drinking good tea is a waste of precious treasures. I stole it. The commander smiled. Chapter 1280. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. I'll bring you an exciting novel to read. Night Sorrow brewed tea and casually chatted with the commander. Although the commander was in his 50s, he was still a young man in front of Night Sorrow. Actually, drinking tea is a medium to cultivate the heart. If the state of mind is right, then it's right, Night Sorrow said. Dala the commander didn't really understand. He looked at Night Sorrow, drank the tea, and returned to the barracks. Night Sorrow stayed here quietly every day, calming his state of mind and emotions. Half a month later, Night Sorrow's body shook, and the energy in his body increased rapidly. 5-star King Realm. His will of nothingness had successfully entered the level of a 5-star king after a year of accelerated cultivation. His will of time and space was also improving rapidly. This made Night Sorrow very happy. He took out a jar of wine, opened it, and drank 2 mouthfuls. At this time, the commander came over, mainly because he was irritated by his cultivation. When cultivating the technique of exerting force, it's not about what your energy looks like. You have to consider its essence. If you're water, then wave force is easy to cultivate. If you're fire, then explosive force is easy to succeed, Night Sorrow said. You're a cultivator? The commander looked at Night Sorrow with surprise. When did I say I'm not a cultivator? Night Sorrow smiled. Then why can't I see your cultivation level? The commander looked at Night Sorrow with surprise, then shock. He couldn't see through Night Sorrow's cultivation level, which meant that Night Sorrow was stronger than him. That's not important. It's fate that we met. Feel it. Night Sorrow waved his arm, and energy wrapped around the commander. Then, it produced a rhythm for the young man to feel. Read the whole thing. 3 days later, the commander was enlightened. He had comprehended wave force. Okay, you finally gained something. I should go. Night Sorrow waved his hand and kept the tent. Thank you for your guidance. What's your name? The commander bowed to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled and shook his head. He did not expect anything in return for his guidance. This is heart-cleansing tea. Please accept it. The commander took out a packet of tea and said. No need, didn't you say it's hard to buy? Keep it for yourself. Yi Shan shook his head. No, this tea is hard to buy, but it's from my family, the commander said with a smile. Your family, what's your relationship with Chin Chin? Night Sorrow asked. He suddenly felt that this commander was very similar to Chin Chin. It's my father. You know my father? The commander looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. We're on our way to your house. Are you going back? Night Sorrow asked. He was surprised that Chin Chen's youngest son would be a commander in the army of the commander's residence. The commander nodded. His name was Chin Kong. He was a bit puzzled because his father was a loner and didn't have many friends. Taking the teleportation array, Night Sorrow arrived at Chin Chen's tea house. What wind blew you here today? Kong, go get some wine. Today, I'll drink with your uncle. Chen Chen hugged Night Sorrow and said to Chen Zhukong. Uncle? You're Night Sorrow. Chen Zhukong was shocked because in this world, there was only one person he could call uncle. You bastard, you think you can call your uncle by his name? Chen Chen waved his hand and slapped the back of Chen Zhukong's head. Haha. It's nothing. Brother, you're thinking too much. Let's not drink, let's drink tea. Your son can't drink the tea, so you should do it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Thank you for your guidance, uncle. Please don't mind if Zhukong was disrespectful. Chen Zhukong said with some embarrassment. It's nothing. Cultivate your heart well and then go find your brother. As long as you can calm down, it's time to take the big step. Night Sorrow shook his head. There were some things he didn't think of. Xianhua said the same thing, so I sent him to the commander's residence, Chen Chen said. 7 Nights City is developing very well now. When will you open your tea house? Night Sorrow asked. The 9 Domains world has already announced and encouraged everyone to develop in 7 Nights City. I also plan to go and take a look. Chen Chen nodded. After staying with Chen Chen for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at Juyuan City. He didn't take the teleportation array but flew there. A distance of 10,000 miles was just a matter of moments for Yishang. Night Sorrow arrived at the old house and lit incense for the Tuyi family ancestors. Then, he looked at Yi Wuqiu. Uncle, there are people from the city lord's residence guarding here. You don't have to stay here. I'm used to this life. Patriarch, you don't have to worry about me, Yi Wuqiu said. He used to call him young master. Now, Night Sorrow was the patriarch appointed by the elders of the Yi family. That's fine. Uncle, make your choice. Night Sorrow didn't force Yi Wuqiu. After drinking a jar of wine with Yi Wuqiu, Night Sorrow returned to Medicine Valley. Medicine Valley in the eastern Xian domain was now a holy land for cultivation. There were many venerables and saints. Many people came to learn from masters and the mountain gate was expanded several times. Coincidentally, when Night Sorrow arrived, the Medicine Valley's apprenticeship ceremony was held. Gong Xian was sitting in the main seat. Although he was already a mid-level saint, he still managed the development of Medicine Valley. He attended the apprenticeship ceremony every year. It was his philosophy to value talents and respect talents. Before Night Sorrow arrived in front of the crowd, Gong Xian moved and separated the crowd. 13. Senior brother. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. 13, you missed your 8th senior brother. Shi Tianlin, who was already the law enforcement elder, came over and patted Night Sorrow's shoulder heavily. I was busy and didn't come back often. Senior brother, please don't mind, Night Sorrow said apologetically. No one will mind. Hua Nan also came over. Nangong Dai, you host the apprenticeship ceremony. 13, let's go. Gong Xian said and pulled Night Sorrow toward Taishan Peak. The disciples of the Medicine Valley looked at Yishang with eyes full of worship. Now, it would not be like the last time when there were people who were ignorant and did not recognize Yishang. This was because there were statues of Yishang in many places. He was the idol in everyone's hearts, the immortal and indestructible king. He's still the same. He hasn't changed at all. He's still the same person, Lin Jingyi murmured. Yes, he's immortal. He's already transcended, but he's still so indifferent, Tang Qianqian said. I didn't believe in his character back then. After so many years, his character is the most outstanding thing about him. Lin Jingyi was a little emotional and even regretful. She regretted kicking Night Sorrow back then. Tang Qianqian didn't say anything. She knew what happened back then and what happened. She also understood Lin Jingyi's state of mind over the years. Lin Jingyi didn't take a second look at many young and handsome men, but Tang Qianqian knew that some things in life were in the past and could never come back. Later, we'll go and see him. In fact, it's not easy for him to work hard outside. The peace we have today is because of him, Tang Qianqian said, you're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.